Ahoy, landlubbers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking, and I welcome you to this, the last day of April in the year 2022. It's April 30th. I'm kind of glad to move on to May. April hasn't been super cool to me on the whole. I have this like weird superstition about certain things, like various weird things. I don't let them really, like, govern my life, but there are a lot of times when, like, a month will just start turning sour, and I'm like, you know what? April's just a bad month. It doesn't like me. And that's definitely been true this year. And yes, this music is jamming. We're all set to play some more Murder by Numbers. Similarly to yesterday, my computer's giving me, like, a little bit of trouble, and I had to restart it a second time getting ready for the stream, which, like, wasn't my favorite. But I think everything's working. We'll see how that plays out. Demolition... was excited about this game, playing it on stream last week, and so he played a little bit off stream and had some even more harrowing experiences, I think both with interface and also technically with some memory issues on his computer. Now, I don't know if that's gonna happen to us. I feel like this game would have really horrible reviews on Steam if that happened to, like, the majority of people, but as my sister says, never always happens. So, we'll see how things play out. For now, I'm enjoying the game, and look forward to playing more, but if it starts giving us, like, a terrible amount of trouble, then we might reevaluate. But, by way of recap, for those of you, I know there's a couple folks who I don't think were around for last week. So Murder by Numbers is, sort of in the spirit of Phoenix Wright. It's more on the police work side than the lawyer side. Instead of a somewhat traditional point-and-click inventory of the court record that we work with, we gather clues by way of our robotic friend Scout. Let's take a look at him real quick. I'm covering him a little bit. Let me just turn me off for a second. There he is. There's Scout. What a good boy. So he's our 90s flying nonogram companion. He uses state-of-the-art technology to scan the environment and provide you with nonogram puzzles, which are a core mechanic to the game. And if you're not familiar with them, you may be familiar with a game called Picross, and that's the same concept where basically you get a set of, like, sort of broad instructions and a grid to work with, and the instructions sort of tell you what's filled in where. But in order to actually get the big picture, you have to sort of deduce, based on the clues available, what spaces get filled in, and then work out the whole grid. Thus far, with the relatively small and relatively simple grids we've dealt with, the end result from the puzzle is often just kind of like a blob of pixels, and it will tell you what it's supposed to represent, and it's not always totally clear. But it's been a lot of fun so far. I haven't historically done a lot of those types of puzzles. I'm familiar with them. I think they've been included in a couple of other puzzle games I've played, although I don't think I've played any Picross, which is, like, really the most famous example of it. But that's more or less what we're looking at in terms of gameplay. That, and then looks like maybe some light interrogation mechanics until we sort of work out who is responsible. We haven't finished a case yet. In fact, we didn't get terribly far in the first case because it's got a bit of a slow pace to it. Also, there's a lot of chatting with chat last week, which I won't apologize for. I think we're all having a lot of fun. But basically, the story thus far is that we play as... gosh, what's her name? Hope? Something like Hope Mizrahi, I want to say. We're an actress. We're like a supporting actress on like a detective mystery show in Hollywood. And we just got fired because the show's like taking another direction or something. And so we were having a bad day. And then we learned that the showrunner, the individual who fired us, was like murdered like probably minutes later. And so we're looking like a prime suspect, but we've been corralled into sort of a break room situation, I think, with all the other potential suspects. But the puzzles that we solved last week sort of led us to break into the ventilation system and find a way to the scene of the crime where we should be picking up, assuming the save file worked correctly. There's a little bit of shenanigans with that at the end of last week's stream. But we should be solving nonograms to find clues and hopefully solve that murder, or at the very least, prove that we didn't do it. And I know that sounds like a pretty simplistic recap, but, like, frankly, the pace has been a little bit slow. There's some character development with various suspects, but, like, honestly, we don't know very much about most of them, save for perhaps our character's co-star and the lead character of the show, whose name is escaping me now. I should remember this. It's something close to a pun. We'll get there. We'll find it. But let's start playing, and I think hopefully it will make a little bit more sense than trying to explain everything. So let's load the game with the autosave. Hey, Ice Bunny, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. Yes, so as expected, I think it dumped us at the start of the scene we were in because the autosave only saves then. Something that we need to be aware of is that apparently you're only allowed to save during puzzles, so that may be a determining factor in when we end the streams and whatnot. That's right, Becky Call, aka Beck End Call. Also, ahoy and aloha and hello to you, Neko. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time because all I did was recap, and now we're gonna hopefully do some actual, like crime solving, maybe? We'll find whoever did this to you, Blake. I'll make sure. Scout, can you see anything? I can currently see 432 objects. Can you be more specific? Or should I scan them all individually? And this is the game. This is the rest of the gameplay, is that we scan every object in this room and maybe eventually find a clue. It's going to take a really long time, but, you know, buckle up. No, I mean, can you see anything that might shed some light on what happened? And before you say anything, I don't mean a desk lamp. I don't literally mean shed light. Also, there's no desk lamp in this room, at least not on the desk. Understood. I'll scan the room. Scan mode activate. This interface is weird. Because, like, if I scan the room, my, like, mouse cursor, like, goes all the... I feel like my mouse cursor should be the circle thing, but it's not. Anyway. Let's scan that chair. Oh, boy. Alright, now I have to remember how this works, because I'm a little rusty after a week, and not having a ton of experience with this. And also, this looks pretty hard. By comparison to a lot of the ones we've done. It's 6 and then a 1, 7 somewhere. I should be able to do some overlap for that, right? Yeah, it seems like maybe one of this game's biggest issues is a lack of overall polish, which isn't necessarily a deal breaker for me, but, like, depending on how long the game goes and depending on certain other factors, can definitely, like, be an issue over time for sure. So, with 7... these two middle ones should apply regardless. But 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In order for there to be a solid 7, all of those have to be filled in? Because, like, the furthest left reaches all the way to there, and the furthest right reaches all the way to there. So, yeah, I think that should work. Based on these, there's a 1 by itself at the end of all of these, which means there can't be any continuous spaces there. And beyond that, not like a whole lot to go on. The next, like, biggest one is, like, the 6 and 1. Let's think about this. So, like, the furthest to the right would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we should be able to, like... yeah. We should be able to consider those as filled in. And then again, using these center ones... the next one up is a 1 by itself. This one, hey, this one's filled in. That's something. And then this. And then we got another relatively large one with 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces remaining, which means that all of those have to be filled in, and then it's either this one's filled in or this one's filled in, and the other one's blank. Can almost do something here. 3 and 3, it's pretty likely that, like, the 3 is here, and then the 3... Well, I guess one of the 3s... Is it... Yeah, it should be the case that one of these 3s is exactly here. Because we know that this is blank, and they have to be 3 continuous. So that means these are blocked off, and because these are both too large to be a 1 filled in space, that means we can rule out these as well. Oh, I think you're right, Neko. It's 151, and I think I did do it as 511. It's a good catch. Okay. So that would instead mean that because this is definitely filled in because of the 6 here, that means that this has to be a continuous 5. 5. And then this has to be a space, and then one of these two has to be a 1. Okay. Does that do anything for these? Since these rows only have 1 by themselves, can't be any adjacent spaces there, so that crosses those off. This we can't technically do anything with. Here we should actually be able to fill this in as a 2. Now, it's unclear whether the other 2 is these 2 or somewhere over here, but that should be correct. Oh, but this is a 4 and 1, right? And so if this is correct, which I believe that logic works out, that should be that, and the whole rest of the row is filled because we have a 1 and a 4. So, because there's only 2 spaces together here, we can rule out anything that wouldn't be immediately adjacent to that. I don't think I could do much else there. Can't quite place the 3 there. Oh, wait a minute. If this is blocked off because of the vertical limitation, that means that the 6 is here. Still don't know where precisely the 1 is, but that's something. Like, for example, this row only has 1 in it completely, which means all the rest of the spaces should be empty, which in turn means we should be able to place another hypothetical space because we're limiting where the 7 can go. Yeah, because now it's like 5, and then it can either be these two, or middle combination. This is an empty space because vertically we're dealing with 1 and 1, nothing larger than 1. Similarly, because this vertical column only has groups of 1 together, those should be empty. And because this appears to be a confirmed 1 isolated on either side, that means it has to be the first 1 in this horizontal row, which means that we're missing the 2. Okay, there's no group larger than 1, so we can rule out that. That's a blank space there. 3. Okay, I guess these have to be, because we're looking in this vertical column at a 1 and a 3, that should mean that the 3 is down here, because you wouldn't be able to fit a 3 any lower, and it has to be lower than the 1 is. So that should also remove the possibility of this being an active space. So now we're just looking to figure out whether the last one in this bottom 7 is on the left or the right. Gosh. 3, 2, 2, 1. At the moment, I feel like I'm at an impasse here. Not immediately sure of what else I can eliminate through actual logic. I'm missing a 1, so one of these 2 spaces should be filled in. Doesn't seem like it helps right now. Oh, here's something. Okay, let's think about this. So this row has to have 2 groups of 3. So we can... Like, this has to be one of them, so the furthest right this group can reach is to over here. Which means this space has to be empty because it can't be a separate group of 3. And because we're now looking at 3 spaces filled in here, these remaining 3 have to be filled in. Which should eliminate the rest of this row, and this row, and this row, I believe. It doesn't help us with these yet, but... We're definitely close here. Oh, no, wait, this also has to be blank, right? Right, because we filled in 2 1s, which means this has to be filled, which means that it has to be part of a group of 4 from there, and has to have a blank space here. So there have to be 3 filled in from these 4. But if this is filled in, that then means this one's blank, which limits this. We also have our group of 6 and our group of 1 here now. So we can rule out those spaces. Not quite sure which of these is the 2 yet, are we? Not technically, but it's probably here is my guess. Click and drag both X's. Yeah, I have inaccurate hands. So, like, if I click and drag, I'm more likely to goof up my whole grid. I might use it at some point, but, like, there's a much higher likelihood that that will hurt me than it will help me. But, I remember you mentioning that, and I will keep it in mind. The concern that I have is, like, if I try to, like, drag up and I, like, hit, like, 3 rows across because of my, like, familial bad hands gene, that I will then have to restart the entire grid, which I'd prefer not to do. Okay. Most of the verticals I don't think I can sort out yet. The 3 is close, but it's not there yet. The 1 close, but not there. 2 will do. Okay, so if we fill that in, it doesn't help us rule out the 4. We should, I mean... Yeah. I mean, like, we know via overlap that the 3 has to cover those 2 spaces, which looks like that blocks off here. Which, 1, 2... Yeah, which means that this is our 4. Which means these should be blank, which means that this should be filled in to make the vertical 3, which then makes that horizontal 3. Which means we should be close to finishing this, yeah? If I fill in this, we're done? It's a banana? I'm sorry, it's a medical report that looks like... It looks kind of like a loaf of bread, but like the end bit is being removed? Yeah, right? Like having to restart would not be great. So, like, I'm gonna be careful about using that. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think part of the issue, too, is that, like, while you're playing along at home, the logic you're applying, at least in some of these cases, might be a little bit differently than the approach that I'm taking. So that might make it confusing, but, like, I do sort of appreciate the fact that this style of game, like, you can play along at home pretty effectively. I mean, mushroom seems like a good guess. It definitely looks more like a mushroom than a medical report. Points! Delicious points. Okay. This is the medical examiner's report. Detective Cross must have called someone in to check the body, and then for some reason left it in the crime scene and didn't deliver it to a police officer. We use these in Murder Mystery when we need to know the basics about a murder. You know, cause of death, time of death. People were murdered on your TV show? Well, yeah, it's literally in the title. I didn't realize. I thought you said you were innocent. Well, just because the show wouldn't mean... And also, it's not real... Never mind. No one actually dies on the show, Scout, and no one leaves. That's why I'm bringing back Tony. They're just acting. Acting? Ah, I see. It's like lying. The show isn't real. You're just pretending to be an actress. Well, no, that's not quite right either. It's more like like if you're gonna boil it down, it's more like the actress pretends professionally. No, I don't have time to explain this right now. Give me a minute to read the report. Cause of death, blunt force trauma to the head. Just like the detective said. Time of death, approximately 4:30 p.m. Where was I at 4:30 p.m.? Was I doing a murder? How do I keep forgetting that? According to my internal chronometer, that's when we met in the parking lot. Of course! Scout, I think I just found my alibi. Yes, because I'm certain that this will be admissible in court, yeah? How's there a medical examiner's report when the body is fresh? I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I feel like you could definitely, at least as a medical examiner, put together some, like, rudimentary findings. It was also implied that a certain amount of time has passed. The body's right there. I mean, sometimes a medical examiner will be on scene, I think. It's not super common, but I feel like that does happen. But, yeah, I mean, there was definitely a point during last week's stream where they suggested, like, a not insignificant amount of time passed. Yeah, right? Wouldn't that be great, Ditto? Like, 4:30. Was that before or after I murdered the security guy who's definitely a killer? I mean, there's two things to go over there. One, yeah, that guy, I think his name's just, like, Bill. It's something really mundane. That security guy is definitely sus. And I don't say that lightly, because I'm not from Gen Z. But he is sus. But, like, yeah, I do think that there's something funny. There is, in one of the Phoenix Wright games, something along those lines, where someone, like, proves that they are, eligible to be considered as a suspect for one crime by disproving another crime, which I always really appreciated that interaction. Oh, that's a good point, Nego. If the medical examiner simply solved a nonogram puzzle, then, like, they probably would have found everything they needed to know about the body. Did that pain me to say? Oh, like, a little bit. Like, it wasn't enough to make me physically wince, but it did hurt me. Well, there he is. It's the security guard. His name is indeed Bill.
Miss Rahi, what are you doing in here?
Oh, we're done investigating? It was the only thing in the whole room to scan? Hi, Bill.
You really shouldn't be in here, Miss Rahi. You're gonna get yourself arrested.
Present evidence! I mean, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. I couldn't stay in the break room. I know I shouldn't be here, Bill, but I couldn't stay in that break room.
How'd you even get out? I thought the detective cross-locked the door.
I crawled out through the ventilation system like a totally innocent person with a little help from this really suspicious floating robot friend. I am Scout.
Hi. What's that? A flying fax machine?
He's a robot of some kind. We haven't had much of a chance to get to know each other yet. Scout, this is Bill. He's the studio's one-man security team. He's definitely related to crimes. Show him your attorney badge. This is my replica attorney badge because I like Ace Attorney. That's why all the dialogue in this game uses the Ace Attorney sound effect. I think that is the crime, Ditto. I thought it was one of the first two games, but having played through them both on stream at some point and not encountered it yet, I'm like, oh, I guess that must be a later one. Hello, Bill.
Boy, technology these days is amazing, isn't it? My son can fax me his drawings from home, and they come out right in my office here because it's the 90s and that's peak technology. Well, up until last week anyway. Now they've got him doing macaroni art at school. She's gummed up the machine something awful. Womp womp. Bill, I've got to prove to Detective Cross that I didn't kill Blake. Can you help? You know I'd do anything to help you out, Miss Mizrahi. I just don't want to get in trouble myself. What have you been doing? You put me in charge of guarding the crime scene. He's got a lot to do, so I'm supposed to make sure no one gets in here or touches anything. Great, you can let me in and touch things. Osha says, if you want S rank for memory puzzles, always search all rooms before questioning people. If you clear a section or chapter before you get all of them, you have to redo the entire chapter. That's not entirely outside of my expectation. The thing that throws me off here is I solved one puzzle and then immediately this happened and then I couldn't scan it. You didn't touch anything, did you?
Who, me? Nah, of course not. You got nothing to worry about.
What about the medical examiner's report? You were reading it just a minute ago. Did you forget?
The report? Oh, geez, that's super important.
I mean, in fairness, in the scheme of things, you're not gonna usually check the medical examiner's report for fingerprints from, like, the culprit, right? Like, there's a lot worse we could do.
You're not gonna be in so much trouble if Detective Cross hears about this.
Thanks, Scout.
You're welcome, Otter.
You and Detective Cross, are you an item, or is he, like, single, or... What do you think of Detective Cross?
Honestly, he's kind of scary. I told him I liked his badge, and he towered over me like some kind of enormous angry telephone pole. I was kind of into it, honestly. But he looks twice as big up close. Which I'm kind of into, again. Just stood there frowning at me. Felt like hours. Then he pointed at my tie and said it was unprofessional. I like this tie.
Neko seems to like it too. It is happy. It is a happy tie. I want to prove my innocence. All I want is to prove to Detective Cross that I didn't kill Blake.
You're a smart cookie, Miss Mizrahi, but shouldn't we let the detective do his job?
Stay in the break room all night? No, thanks. Maybe he knows what he's doing, but it's taking too long. At this rate, the real killer's gonna get away before he's even interviewed us. I mean, not if the killer was, like, definitely in that room, although I don't think we really know that for sure. I know I'm just an actress in a detective show. I wasn't even the main character, but I can help.
Maybe, but you're gonna need some serious evidence to convince Detective Cross you're not a suspect.
Well, the medical examiner's report says Blake died around 4:30 p.m. I left Blake's office way before that.
That's great, but can you prove it? I've seen it in your show. You need evidence.
I mean, there's also the problem that, like, time of death, like, isn't typically, like, that precise? Especially per Demolition's concern earlier. That, like a preliminary report, I think, is, like, way less likely to be, like, accurate down to, like, a few minutes. Oh, thank you, Demolition. I do try when we're playing a visual novel that doesn't have voice acting in it, but, you know. I feel like I did a really bad job with Johnny last week, so I'm gonna have to figure out something new. It's not playing nicely with my microphone. I was being too enthusiastic. Scout, did you record anything on those cameras of yours?
Yes, Otter. I automatically keep a cyclical buffer of the past few hours of visual input. However, I have no way of displaying those images.
All that technology and they didn't give you a printer? Like a video printer? Why would that... Never.
I'll add it to the list.
You know, that reminds me of the fancy CCTV system we were supposed to get. Then they trimmed the budget and it ended up only getting installed in the parking lot. Typical management, I'm telling you. So, we can't afford this.
God, the pace of those is really quick when it gets excited. Wait, you're saying there's CCTV outside? The place that I was, that we can prove that I was?
Sure, no one ever showed me how to use it, but it's there.
That also sounds like management. That does.
The CCTV can prove my alibi.
That's how you read that word.
Bill, the CCTV will prove my alibi.
I was in the parking lot when the murder happened. Can you pull the footage to show to Detective Cross?
Well, in theory, but you need my fingerprint to open the security office door. I'm supposed to stay here and guard the crime scene.
Well, that's easy enough. We'll just cut off his thumb and bring it to the office and find the footage ourselves. What could be easier? Guard it from who? Everyone else is locked in the break room. The same room that we, like, opened an escape route to. Where they could easily get in here.
What if the murderer comes back?
Then Scout will, blast them with his death ray.
Really? He could do that?
Otter, I don't... Yes, that is definitely a thing he can definitely do, absolutely. Now, could you go and get that tape, please?
Oh, jeez. Okay, if you're sure. I'll be as quick as I can.
Honor, I don't have a death ray. I know, Scout. Just play along, okay? Stop narking on me. You've got me in trouble like 3 times. My first real crime scene. It's nothing like I imagined. Maybe partially because it's just like a place that I spend time in every day.
I thought you pretended to solve crimes on your TV show.
I did, and I've read so many mystery novels, seen so many movies. It sounds stupid now, but I guess I convinced myself I'd know how to handle a real murder. Now I'm standing here looking at the body of my friend, and... Door opens. Bill, did you get the tapes already? No, it's gonna be Cross.
Ahem.
Oh, God.
Detective Cross will do just fine, thanks. You want to give me an explanation, or shall I skip straight to the handcuffs?
Well, this didn't go well. Neko says she's still confused that the character's called Honor, assuming that she's presenting evidence to a judge off screen. I can see that.
I can't wait to see how you're gonna try and talk your way out of this.
I can explain everything. And then my head explodes. Okay, I can explain everything.
How'd you even get in here?
Through the air vent.
The air vent? Who do you think you are, John McClane?
Maybe if you hadn't locked us in the break room, I could have used the door like a normal person. Wow, what a bad argument. What an extremely bad argument. Maybe if you let all the possible suspects run loose, like, I could just hang out here at the crime scene, which I'm sure is fine.
Oh, really? My apologies. I didn't realize I should have made it easier for you to tamper with the crime scene.
I realize this looks bad, but I got sick of waiting around. You haven't taken our statements yet.
This is real life, not some 2-bit TV show. Good police work takes time.
I'm just trying to find some way to prove I didn't kill Blake. He was my friend.
And you thought breaking into the crime scene was going to help your case?
Actually, it did. There's solid proof I didn't do it. Bill's just gone to get the security tapes, and now I've gotten him in trouble, too.
I was beginning to wonder where he'd gone. Maybe you convinced him to leave so you could screw around with the real evidence.
You'll see once he gets back. You just have to trust me. Why? Why does he have to do that?
Trust doesn't get you very far in my line of work.
What's taking so long? What's taking so long anyway? We've been stuck in that room for hours. See, like, they implied a bunch of time passed. I don't know if they ever put a specific amount on it. But, like, there was a point where they, like, established all the characters, and then they're like, I don't know, like, a bunch of time passed. Everyone's mad about it. Oh, hey, Mr. Generic Name. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing this lovely Saturday eventime?
I'm just doing my job. There are a lot of things to cover. Security, photography, evidence collection.
Wait, I'm sorry. Were you doing a photo shoot during all of this? Are you, like, a cop/model? That feels very, like, 90s, I guess. This is another really bad argument. I've read enough mysteries to know it shouldn't take this long. Something's wrong. So I'm a little understaffed. Nothing I can't handle. Oh, great. Reassuring to know that Blake's death is so high on the LAPD's list of priorities. Central's screwing me around again, but it won't work. I might be old, but I'm not getting pushed into a desk job yet. It takes as long as it takes, and that's the end of it. You got any leads? Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. Please, detective, I was just trying to help. Being a detective on TV doesn't mean you're qualified to waltz in and take over a real murder investigation. Real police work isn't a game, it's dangerous. And you don't know the first thing about it. That's where you're wrong. My dad was on the force. And I suppose he told you all about it? He didn't have to. He'd come home exhausted every night. I saw what it did to him. I might not have the training, but I understand the job. I know what it takes. Don't make me laugh. I've seen your show. You wouldn't last 5 minutes on the force. What would you do if the killer showed up right now?
I would blast them with my death ray.
He seems very happy about that, too. It's like Miami Vice or NCIS Miami. Yeah. I'm thinking something along those lines for the cop/model. I think Detective Cross is really bad at nonograms, and is too bad to admit it. It would explain his grumpiness. There might be something to that. I don't know that all police work is solved by nonograms, or only if you have a fancy flying space computer. You forgot it was Saturday? Well, first, welcome to the stream, Alcadius, and second, hopefully that's good. I don't believe you work a 9-to-5 job, so I don't imagine that it's simply the case that you realized you had a bunch of spare time, but regardless, not used to having the day off. Yeah, that'll do it. I'll do it. So Scout wasn't in the room before, right? When he was first, like, questioning people? So this is, like, his first time noticing Scout, I guess? He's just kidding, Detective. This is Scout, by the way. He's a modern Marvel or something. Detective Cross, this is Scout. Looks like something out of Buck Rogers. You know, he's not wrong. It's a pretty dated reference, but that honestly sounds about right.
Are you a real detective? Can you help me find my creator?
You'd better get this flying toaster out of my face before things get ugly. Scout, maybe you should leave the nice detective alone. Alright, Ms. Rahi. I think it's time we moved this conversation down to the precinct, don't you? Yes. I don't know if they give a specific year, but they definitely make enough allusions to make it clear that this takes place in the 90s.
I got it, Honor. I found the security tape.
Nice of you to join us.
Detective Cross? Oh, jeez. I mean, what a pleasant surprise.
Maybe I'm getting forgetful in my old age, but didn't I tell you to guard this room?
I am guarding the room. I mean, I was. I just had to go and,
Care to explain how Miss Marple over here managed to get in? I like that he's leaning really hard on the dated but accurate reference thing.
You said to make sure nobody got through that door, and, well, you didn't say anything about the air vent.
So you wandered off and left a murder suspect at the scene of the crime? Alone? With all the evidence?
Well, when you say it like that, it's pretty negligent, sure. I only went to check the CCTV system. Would have been back sooner, but I had to take the darn thing apart to get the tape.
Couldn't just press the eject button?
There's an eject button?
Oh boy. It's gonna be a long case. If I was wearing a propeller beanie right now, it'd be spinning around and making cartoon noises. So, what do you say, Detective? Care to see my evidence?
You've got 5 minutes. After that, I'm taking you downtown. We're gonna go clubbing. It's unrelated to anything else, but I just thought you should know that's what's happening. That's all I need. Scout, can you scan this? Is that how... Is this how tapes work? Is this how tapes work now? Yeah, I don't know. I really want to side with Hope, because I generally like Hope as a character, but, like, I really don't like her approach to trying to clear her name, because, like, it makes her look so unbelievably guilty, and she just acts like that's, like, super cool. Yeah, let's do some... See, like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't wanna mess around with that too much, but we're at the start of the puzzle, and we got 3 rows of 10. Alright, so... There's an 8 in here, I think I might deal with that later. A 7, and then a 1. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I mean, that pretty much... Hold on. So if we fill those in... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Because that's the top and bottom. So 7 could be here, except that we need a separate 1 after the 7. So it has to be like... Have to be like... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for some reason that math wasn't working out in my head, but that should be correct, I believe. Here we need a 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm gonna test something hypothetically here. 2, mandatory space, 1, mandatory space, 2, mandatory space, 1. Okay, so that checks out. You only have 5 minutes. Maybe it's Frieza's 5 minutes. Yeah, well no, it's not. Was it Frieza who set the 5 minutes? I know exactly the thing you're talking about, because I remember watching that back when I was in, like, high school, and being like, come on. Because they're like, oh yeah, at the end of the episode, like, 5 minutes until Planet Namek is destroyed. And then, like, don't, like, several episodes happen before even, like, the threat of that happening occurs? Alright, so... randomly, we got a row here that has a 2 and a 2. We now have 2 filled in right next to each other. Everything on either side has to be blanked out. Yeah, we do have another 7, 1. So that works out the same exact way, right? Because, like, it has to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in order to account for the space and the 1. Have this 8 now. I think we can rule out this, but, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we can rule out the far left one because this one's filled in. But without doing a more intensive look, can't rule out the rest. We've got a 2 and a 4 here. We don't quite have enough to rule that out. We'll sort this. We have another 8 across here with a pretty similar situation to the one above. Just some sort of repeating pattern, but could technically be those across and there. So we'll leave that for this moment. This row only has a series of individual 1s, so let's block out other sides of the filled-in spaces. But there's a couple ways I could fill out, so I don't think we're quite there yet. This row only has 2s in it, so we can rule out anything that couldn't possibly line up next to this one. Which narrows it down slightly. 1... this row's a 2 and a 4, so these 2 have to be together. Which in turn means this gotta be blank. And this would have to be blank. And this would have to be blank. So, again, looks like a repeating pattern. And continuing down that left column, the 4 should work out like that, which also gives us one of the 2 individual ones from this row. What else do we got? This should work out like the other one, right? 2, 1, 2, 1. And that should be enough to fill in this row of 8, because now it can't reach to the far side, and now it's 4 and 4.
And does that do the same thing for us here? Yeah, it looks like it does. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's blank. That means our first one in this column should be a 2. And that also leaves us only these spaces. Oh, apparently that's the whole thing. I did it! It's a bank robber? Oh no, we solved the rounded edge tape. These aren't super evocative, huh? It says, come on, Dad, we only have 5 minutes. We give Date 6. In fairness, Date needs an extra minute for all things. He's not very good. I'm pretty sure Date is responsible for the final pixel art for all of these, which is why none of them quite look right. Yeah, right? Like, I kind of see, like, a masked face, like a bank robber or something. Or, like, honestly, this looks closer to being a tire than the previous, like, memory puzzle we did that was supposed to be a tire. Detective rank up! New bonus puzzle's been added to the bonus puzzle. Except of a penguin face. I can see that. Oh, where did we get... Okay. Okay, what are we looking at? This is the security footage of the parking lot earlier this afternoon. Look, there's Bill. Hi, Past Bill. No, that's actually a good point, Neko. If Date was doing the art, it would not be suitable for the Twitch terms of service. Who's that in the background? Looks like they've got spray cans. Got a problem with vandals around here, Bill? Them? No, they're just contractors. We get a lot around here, you know. Painters, carpenters. They're not contractors, they're kids. They've got skateboards, for God's sake. Didn't you say you were looking for kids doing graffiti earlier, Bill? Oh, jeez. So wait, they just told him they were contractors and he just believed it? Awesome. Excellent work. As enlightening as this is for some of us, I don't see how it proves anything useful. I'm getting to that, Detective. Bill, can you fast forward to about 4:30 p.m.? It's implied we're forwarding fastly. There, that's it. See? That's me, standing by my car. I spoke to Bill, then Scout. Okay, you were in the parking lot. So what? Those kids must have done it. Is this the type of game where I can give an answer and lose? This game really does need a consistent menu/save options. Really kind of busted. I'm just gonna say the thing that definitely won't get me a game over because I can't save and I'm a little concerned about how this game will treat things. Even though I should probably be able to say the stupid thing. Blake was already dead. He died around 4:30 p.m. and the CCTV footage clearly shows I was in the parking lot. I'll be darned. Not bad for a TV detective, huh? I guess not. Now, if I can just get you to write me an official statement... Wait a second, how do you know the time of death? Bill, did you let her read the medical report? Oh, jeez. Listen up, everyone. I'll need to keep you here for a little longer. Please, Detective. I've spent my last 20 minutes trying to get John and Becky to stop arguing. I'd have more luck sorting out the Middle East. If you need something to keep you occupied, start working on those statements that I never asked for. What about me? Can I help out some other way? Scout could... Listen, Nancy Drew, you got lucky with that CCTV, but that's all it was, luck. Now go home and let the professionals handle this. Hey, how come she gets to go home? She could be the murderer. I've seen evidence that proves otherwise. Only thing she's guilty of is being a pain in my rear. You can't keep me locked up in here. What if I'm next? Don't worry, babe. If anyone tries anything, I'll whack them with one of my dumbbells.
You brought dumbbells with you on a job? You never know when you're gonna find a spare 5 minutes to work up a sweat. Know what I mean?
This guy is, like, super suspicious to me. I don't know that he's a murderer, but, like, he's guilty of crimes. There's something off with this man. A reclusive nun would get what you mean, and even she'd think 5 minutes is pathetic. I like that he didn't say anything else. He just slunked out. Wait, did I just find Becky funny? Detective, I'm begging you, you've got to let us out of here. I'm going stir crazy. Fine, you can leave the gosh darn room. Just stay inside the studio grounds, okay? Yeah, nothing can go wrong with that. No, not at all. I mean it. Any of you try anything, and I'll have you tackled by a patrolman faster than you can say WrestleMania. Quick question. How cute is this theoretical patrolman? How good's his credit? Does he get on well with his mother? As for you, go home. Just for the record, you guys are all crazy, and I'm putting that in my report. Neko says, it sounds like this guy fought Frieza Namek. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a flawless British accent that doesn't in any way resemble an out-of-place accent from a different voice acting property. In any way, at all, exactly. Praise the goddess, we're free. Ish. I guess I should go home now, like you said. Don't feel bad, babe. You earned it. And you said you were gonna prove yourself innocent, you went and did it. I did, didn't I? So, what are you waiting for? You're free to go. Uh-oh, you've got that look on your face. Don't think you can hide it from me, Missy. I know that look. That's the honor of Mizrahi. I'm not giving in special. Really? You felt the dumbbell guy sounded like someone who fought Frieza? I honestly can't think of which one you're thinking of. But isn't there, like, an out-of-place Australian accent in the Ginyu Force? That's what I was thinking of. I think he's, like, one of the first guys who, like, fought, like, Vegeta, I think? It's been a long time. I might have the timeline wrong, but, like, pretty sure he's, like, one of the first guys from the Ginyu Force you see has, like, an Australian accent for some reason. I guess he came from, like, planet Australia. Yeah, Jace! Yeah, that sounds right. It's just, I got myself out of trouble, but what about you guys? What about Blake? He gave me my big break. I wouldn't even be here without him. He wasn't just my boss, he was my friend. Who got me fired and kind of didn't care. Right up till he fired you. But that's just it. It doesn't make any sense. All I could think of at the time was how angry I was, but looking back, he was so nervous. You've been playing detective too long, babe. Starting to sound like one. It's not just me. There's something else going on. I can't just leave.
If you want to keep investigating on her, I'm here to help. Beep boop.
Scout? Don't you want to go and find a real detective? I like the R2-D2 noise, coupled with his little, like, small mouth face that kind of makes it look like he just straight up whistled for some reason.
You may not be a real detective, but maybe that's okay. Maybe what I really need is a partner. Pilgrim? I'm good at finding things, but I'm no good with people. But you convinced Bill to help you. You proved your innocence to Detective Cross. So maybe I don't need a real detective after all. Because together we can solve anything. If you want to try, that is. Why not? I think I'm getting to like having you around anyway. How about you, Casey? Will you help me look into it? Crikey, I don't know why I'm still here. But, can I pop to the loo first? Needed to go for hours, and I'm genuinely scared something's about to burst. At least he didn't poo himself. That'd be really unfortunate. Oh, I see. You weren't referencing the accent for Muscle Guy. It's something he said.
I gotcha, because he needed 5 minutes for his dumbbells. It's the same 5 minutes it would require to destroy planet Namek. Location unlocked office! Let me try something here. Manual save. It's our first manual save. In the second stream. That all seems fine. Let's Scout's memories. It's unclear to me whether I missed a scannable in that room. I don't think so, because I don't think I would have had any agency over that. Or maybe it's just like... Yeah, always save the game seems like a good idea when it gives you the opportunity. Sideways face. Let's do a memory puzzle. It's probably way too hard for me. Alright, this one has some 10s as a good starting point. I appreciate that. The previous one that was too hard for my relative beginner difficulty level. Really had to suffer through that one. So at least we have a starting point here. Wow, 11, huh? Should definitely be some overlappable space there. Let me consider this for a second. So the 5 in the middle, and then, like, the furthest across could be to here. So we can do one more on either side of this, because it either has to reach all the way from the left to here to reach 11, or all the way to here, or is, like, some middle thing. But I believe that should work. Or wait a minute, no. I'm doing this lopsided, right? Flip in the middle grid, and then one there. And then... No, I think that's right. No, this is right, because this is one to the right of the first 10. Okay. Believe that's correct. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it can either be 4. Yeah, this is correct. This is correct. Okay. And then 13, we should probably be able to do something similar, maybe a little bit more extended. So let's start in the same spot. But there can only be 2 blank spaces on either side. Because it has to fill basic, practically everything. Like, basically everything. 2 and 3 and 6. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to do that. 3, 10, and 4, 10 are kind of interesting. Again, I'm not sure I'm quite there. 1, 11, 1 seems like that's either doable or almost doable. Hang on. So that's 12, 13, and then 14, 15 for the blank spaces. Yeah, we should be able to fill in that. Okay, that all looks good. Yeah, I think all this logic holds up. It's really easy to second guess yourself as a thing that I've come across so far. I don't know if other people feel that way, having played any number of these. I've seen a couple people like logging on Nonogram games on Steam, and a couple people have mentioned it to me already. That's always really exciting to me. I think it's a real compliment to a streamer when, like, they play a game and then, like, someone who watched them do it is like, yeah, that made me want to get the game myself. Like, you did a good enough job showcasing the game that, like, I feel like I need to get involved. Okay, so... If we have an 8 and a 1, we have a similar situation where, like, it should be, like, 1 and then a blank space to separate them, and then 8 all the way up. So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is exactly the same thing, so we'll do exactly the same thing. Does that do anything for us? So 2 and a 1 and a 3. So... no. Hypothetically, these could be any of those. Here we have 1, 4, 2, 1. So since these are too far apart to be all part of the 4, that means that the right 2 have to be the 2 grouped together. So we'll cross those off. The 1 can be somewhere over here. The first one has a lot of latitude. The other 4, on the other hand, can only reach to there. Or it could reach 1, 2, 3, in theory. So I think the 1 should actually be limited to there. No, wait. I think that's technically true. I think I'm gonna leave it regardless. Okay. Let's see. We have 3 and 4 in 1. Can I do something with that? 3 could be the top 3 or 3 just below that. The 4 probably next to here. Hang on. What's the highest up this could be? If we did 1, 2, 3, space 1, 2, 3, 4, space 1. That's basically solved, right? Like, because like that has to like there needs to be space for all of those things that are accounted for, and that takes up the whole row. This one, on the other hand, doesn't work quite the same way. But if we did 1, 2, 3, space 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's no room for the 3 to be anywhere down here, which means the lowest 3 has to end there, which then means the 1 can be either of these 2 spaces. So we made some headway there, but that row isn't solved. I was going to ask what we scanned to do this, but this is a scout memory puzzle. Almost filled in this 7 using only columns, which feels a little weird, but would be helpful. Let's see. Do we have... Also, almost filled out this 7, to be honest. 4 and 1, can't really do anything there. A little bit of a sense of these. What about 4, 2, 1? 2, 3, 4, space 2, space 1. No, not quite enough to go on there. More, I think, with these 6 ones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. I guess there's no way for the 6 to be at the top here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, okay, that's correct. And so if that's true, that means that the 6 have to be here, assuming this information is correct, which it looks like it is, which then still leaves a question mark here about where the 1 goes. But another thing that it should do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we blanked out the rest of the spaces in the top row, which helps a little bit. Does that do anything with this 6 and 1? 2, 3, 4, 5. Not quite. Not quite. Something interesting here is that we have a limited range of where this could be because there's only a row of 4 and we have 1 spot placed. So it could technically reach all the way to the bottom, or it could technically reach 1, 2, 3, 4. But these spaces should be blank. This is why I don't click and drag. I acknowledge the usefulness of it, but I don't think it is the ideal tool for me with my many myriad misclicks. Which sounds like something that Adam West's Batman would say. Okay, so now we need a 2, a 3, and a 6. We already have a 3 together here. We can't have a 6 and then this as the 3 in the middle. So that means that these 6 consecutive spaces have to be that last 6, which then in turn means that this has to be the group of 3, so we've already filled in some space there. However, the 2 still a little flexible at the moment. It seems like we've filled in this 4, so that space is off limits because it needs to be separate from the other one. It could technically be 2, and yeah, none of that's narrowed down just yet. Yeah, nothing there yet. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay. Nothing there. How about this 11? We should be able to fill in a little bit more, right? Because now it has to overlap. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, either way, that space has to be full. Okay. So what does that do for us? That has... that 2 is now filled in. This should be blank because the next thing has to be a group of 2, so I can't reach all the way up there. Which in turn means these 3 should be together, and then the rest of this row should be 10. Yeah, that looks right. Do anything for us? That does indeed mean that this has to be where the 4 overlap in that column. So the rest of that is blank. Does that do anything for me? Not there. 2, 3. I think that means that this has to be the group of 3. Because I can't fit the group of 3 further here. Before I could like 3 and then space, and this might be the 1 in the middle. But now I can't do that. So that means this should be 3. This should be 1. That would make this 2, and the rest of this is off limits. That narrows this one. This has to be a group of 4 consecutive. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I should be able to block out these and this very bottom one. Which I think 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. 5, 6, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. Whatever. I feel like that should change this map, but I either did something wrong or I'm thinking about it wrong now. Either way, can't still do this one yet, can we? Because the 2 could technically go there. So we have to leave that. In this row, we need a 4 and then a 1. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, either way, the 1 has to be one of these 2, but I guess that doesn't narrow it down. Is there a way to narrow it down using this row? Because now we should be able to conclude that this is the group of 4. Which means that has to be blank, and so do... No, we still need a 1 over here somewhere. So 1 there. Does that do anything for us? That means... Uh-oh. Something's gone wrong. And I'm not sure what. But according to this column, I can't have a 4 and then a 3. This one has to be correct, so that has to be one of the 2. Based on the other stuff I'd filled in, this looks right. Is this wrong? 2, 3, 1? I think this is what I was working on most recently here. I don't know how to undo what I just did. I wasn't being that conscious of it. I don't know, a lot of this still looks right, but something here is wrong. Has to be filled in, so that can't be right. That also has to be filled in. That has to be the group of 2. These 2 also have to be filled in. 4, 1, 3. Yeah, that has to be filled in. This kind of has to be the 4, doesn't it? There's just no way all of those things can be possible. This must be the row that's wrong. Like, it just has to be. I know that's filled in, though. But this one has to be wrong. This I'm pretty sure is correct. I'm gonna do that. And see if I have to fix this row later. Because I think that covers the majority of the things that are uncertain to me. Yeah, that doesn't look right. Maybe this is wrong. Is this wrong? I don't have anything to... Yeah, maybe that's it. Although... Doesn't that have to be the 3? This row could also be wrong. This was wrong. It could make sense of this to some extent. Because I have this here. Well, no, I guess I placed that there because I thought I had concluded where the 3 had to be. And that was partially because I filled in this row, which I think this column is correct. If this is correct, this has to be where the group of 10 ends, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because there's no way... Okay. Which then means... Okay, so that would make 2, and then 2, and then 1 somewhere. That still tracks. 4 and 1. I mean, hypothetically, I could rule this out. 2. Okay, so because I need a 2 and a 3 and a 1, I should be able to rule out what's on either side of the 3 because that's the biggest group there. It can't be anything else. Which then should mean that this is filled in. And then that leaves us with 2 possible places for the 1. But, like, that should be correct. 13. Are we down to just 13 spaces here now? I think we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So that would mean, at least in theory, that this would have to be the group of 4. The 1 could... We got the floating 1 there. If I could solve the bottom row, it would help a lot. We're not there yet. So in theory, also, 2, 3, 4. So, like, that would be off limits. Floating 1 there. Floating 1 for several of these. 4 and 2. So that should be nothing, which then would mean that the 2 has to be over here somewhere, which should mean that this is blank. Which then would mean that this is the 3. Yeah, I think we're back on track. I think. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 isn't quite ruled out yet. Oh no, wait. 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, okay. So that's also the 6, so that's blank. Blank. For the 1 would go here, the 1 can't go here. Because there's only a continuous 7. So that 1 goes there. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Okay, that could still be either of those. This has to be continuous, so this has to be the 1. Does that track here? 3, 3, 1? Okay. But because we have so much of this ruled out, these can't be filled, which probably helps us narrow down something else. Uh-oh. No, wait, this could work. Yeah, this has to be... This is filled in, this is filled in. That has to be empty, which means this is filled in. Which means that's blank, which means that's full. And then this. Oh, thank goodness. Cripes almighty, I nearly goofed that so bad in the middle there. And the game's mocking me. Because it's a donut. I feel like the donut should have been kinder to me. Excellent use of emotes, though. That was harrowing. Feel tired now. I don't know if that was as difficult to anyone else as that seemed to me, but I sure made that look difficult. Okay, I'm gonna start by looking at this 5111, because we're stacked vertically to 15. So, all together, that's basically like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That doesn't quite work, does it? So where can I start? I mean, I can do overlap for the 8, which isn't very much this far wide. Because it would have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah, I guess it's middle 6. No, it's more than I'm thinking. Because it can only reach that far. Okay. That's a starting point. That might, in theory, be enough to work out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think... Let me just execute this and see if this is actually right, but I think this is correct. I think because that's as tall as that can be, then it would have to be like 1 space, 1 space, 1 space, 1? No, there could be a double... There could be a double space somewhere. That doesn't quite work. But I do think this is correct? No. But it's close to correct. I think because... Let's think about this. I need at least 8 spaces below this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So... if I was smarter, I feel like I can glean more information from this, but it's like... Well, okay, let's take a different approach here. I think this is correct. I'm gonna remove it for now. So if we were to try and do 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. No, there's actually like plenty of space for that, huh? Okay, here we have a 1 and a 7. I think that's 8. Doesn't leave a lot of wiggle room, but I don't think it's quite enough to narrow anything down. It's 6. I was to do 1, 2, 3 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Couldn't technically do that. It'd be 1 space, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 space. Oh no, you have exactly enough to do that. So this could theoretically be the 3. 5, 2 and 5, 3 through 1. 1 and 1, 1 and 1. That's almost something. 5 and 1 and 1. Well, we know this isn't the 1 or the 1. Can I gain any information from that? I do wish I had a couple bigger numbers here. 6 and 1, definitely not enough information there. 4. Definitely need like one other big piece of information to really start narrowing this down. And I feel like I should be able to get it from this row and start working. I mean, in theory, I want to believe that all of these can be solved through some logical deduction. It may be that at a certain point, it exceeds my ability to understand the approach I'm supposed to take. But, like, we might find a point in time when, like, there's just not a way to do it. And it could be something like this, I don't know. I don't think that's true. Okay, let's get a little abstract here. So, like, this can either reach, like, to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a hypothetical placement. Or it can be down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, if we were to assume that it reached as far down as possible, it would probably not be able to put in all the ones, right? Because it would be like, space 1. Let's do this for the sake of argument. Space 1, space 1, space 1. No, that would work. So yeah, I guess that really doesn't give you much to go on, because that means it could go anywhere in this range if that hypothetically works, because that could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So at least I feel confident in having ruled out that, which isn't helpful because I really wanted that. And 6 and 1. That should hypothetically work. So I shouldn't be able to do anything there. 5 and 1. Reach. 4 and 1. Okay, so let's think about this. So if we have 4 and 1 in this row, that means that, like, the furthest that this 4 could reach is, like, down to, like, here. Or up to 2, 3, 4. Which means that, like, this can't ever be part of the 4. Does that do something for me? Probably not. 1 and 2 and 2 and 1. So that means that there has to be 1, 2, 3 spaces. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still not enough to go on, but that's pretty close. About the 2, 2, 3. We need 2 spaces. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gosh, there's a lot of, like, 9s. Two, 5 can't do anything with. 6 and 1. 1 and 2. 5. 8 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1 and 1. It's just not enough to go on. Yeah, I mean, Demolition strongly suspects that there's at least some level of puzzle difficulty that may require guess and check. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to take a hard stance on that, not having done enough of these. Like I said, I want to believe that's not true. I feel like the purpose of these puzzles should be that that isn't true. However, at this particular moment, not exactly batting 1,000 myself here. Okay, so let's think about something. Let's think about this 7. So, it could reach like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we need to have at least 2 spaces to its left in order for the 1 to be a separate entity, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it can either be this is the last space or this is the last space, or wait, 1, 2, 3, 6. I think that's right. That should be right. Can I be like, this is empty, and then like filled, empty, filled, or whatever the alternative to that is. I'm trying to think about too many things at once. But I think we can actually conclude that these spaces have to be filled as part of the 7. Does that do anything for us? So I think that means the furthest up the 5 could go is to here, which would mean that these both have to be empty. And if that's the case, does that just mean that this reaches all the way to the bottom? I think that's right. Because it can't really go any lower than that if it needs all the rest of those spaces filled in. But it can't reach any higher if the 1-7 deduction is correct. So that gives us a little something. So now we can rule out. So like the furthest this can go is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can reach all the way to here. Or it can reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is blank. It's not a lot, but I'll take what I can get. I don't think I can get anything from here. Okay, so similar to this vertical deduction, the 5 can only reach up to like 1, 2. So like these should be blank again. Which in turn, because both of these rows need 4 together, like these should be blank. Which I think will be helpful in the not too distant future. This also, in theory, means now that we've reduced it to such a limited range, for both of these rows, all 3 of those spaces should be filled. Which in turn would mean that the 6 has to be continuous here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which means this has to be empty, which means this has to be the 1. Because otherwise there wouldn't be enough separation from the 7. However, the 7 can still reach to either side because we have an extra X somewhere. Pretty sure that's correct. That could, however, mean that this is the 2 and this is the 5, so I don't think I have any meaningful deductions here. Don't think this could still be like 1, 2, 3, space 4, so that's kind of where that's at. But, okay, here... this has to be off limits because this can't be a group of 4 that goes any higher than this. Which means the rest of this column is like totally limited. But also just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like that row's just done in theory. Yeah, 3, yeah. So that group of 3 is the first one. This has to be the second, which in turn means that that's null and void. Don't know where the 1 is, but that's something. Seems very likely that these are filled in. Because I need a 1, and then a 2, and then another 2, and then a 1. It's the only way Like, the 1 can be in either of these spaces, but, like, these 2, like, have to be filled in. Because there's just, like, not enough space otherwise to have another group of 2, a space between it, and the 1. I'm pretty sure? So that, like, I think that literally means the rest of the row we can do, but we don't know where the first one is. I think that's correct. Yeah, that looks correct to me. So that would mean that this is the group of 4 here. This 5 still isn't solved yet. But something we know in theory is that this has to be the group of 1, and then, like, the 2 has to intersect with this existing space, so everything else should be off limits. Can't do anything there yet. Can't do that. Can't quite do that. Nothing there. Nothing. Okay. Okay, but, so, we got a group of 3, and then this should be 6 down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because it has to be a continuous group. The 1 is floating abyss 1. Hang on a second. So if all 7 of these spaces are correct, that means that for both of these rows, that has to be off limits. Which then in turn would mean that this set spot has to be part of the group of 2, which somewhat limits this right column. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's just all. That just has, that's what that column looks like. 1, 5. I think. Thank you for the encouraging words, Ditto. I appreciate it. Okay, so in this row, this group of 3 has to be filled because it's the only place 3 can go, and the first group has to be 3, which means that these are now done. This could still be 2 up here and then 5, so that doesn't do anything. Floating 1, floating 1, floating... God, the floating ones, like, usually at the bottom, bane of my existence. Let's think about this for a second, though, huh? So, like, here's a group of 4, so it has to be the group of 4, since that's the biggest one there. Which then, in turn, means that the other group up here has to be 3, and apparently we've checked that off, which then means that this has to be the group of 2. Not a ton of space for the 5. Might be able to work on that. Okay. That also means that this is our group of 2 in this row, which should make that our group of 5 there. Which, since that's now isolated, means that this has to be our group of 2. And that's done. And having done this, that rules out this space, which is completely meaningless because it was basically already ruled out. Can't do anything here. The group furthest to the right has to be a continuous group of 3 here. So that, in turn, means that should be true. The 2 is non-determined. This is the group of 1 on the right, 1 on the right, 1 on the right, 1 on the right. Which then means that the next one over has to be 2, because there's not enough room for 2 in a space, so should be able to rule that space out at the very least. Not so much to work with there. Something kind of similar here. And it's the same setup. That could be it. That could go anywhere. Who knows? 1, okay, 3 and 3, okay, 3 and 6, okay, 3 and 4. Below the 4, there's no group larger than 1, so that's blank. Which still isn't technically enough to go on. No. Are these ones done? This is 4 and then a 1? Sure, okay. That's interesting. And then this is also done according to that layout, so 3 and 1 and 1. Okay. That still doesn't narrow down where the 2 are. For a second, I thought it might. Feels like there's a pretty good chance that one's filled in, but I don't think I can actually declare that. Space. Space. No, not really enough to go on there. I'm a little stuck again. No, hang on a sec. What about this? 3, 4, and then I need 3 groups of ones, so like 3, 4. This space is off limits, and then I need 2 more, so that has to be filled in, blank, filled in. Right? That then makes that where the 2 lives. Still don't know where that 1 goes, but that's something. It narrows this. Not meaningfully, though. 1, 5. Okay, let's work on this 5 overlap that I've neglected here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So both of those should be true. There's only the flex space of 1. That's fair enough, so that has to be blank. This row is done. This row also appears to be done. This needs to be a group of 2, which also finishes that row. Now I can only fit 2 groups of 1. So, like, this has to be filled in. And so does this. Wow, that's a weird process of elimination I haven't encountered yet. That in turn makes this the 2. Which then makes that the bottom of that 5 for that column. This is filled in. I just need this. It's an eggplant with chocolate on it. Nope, it's a candy bar. I'll tell you what, that was difficult. Like, that's already pretty challenging, and I'm sure they can get harder than that. Alright, let's do a save. Thanks, everybody, for the encouraging words and the support and everything. I mean, I'll tell you what, like, I like a good, just, like, real gritty logic puzzle. Which is, I think, at the end of the day, that's really what these are. I mean, especially in a case where, like, when you start filling in the picture, you can't necessarily guess what the picture is. Like, if you had some indication of what you were constructing, like, you might have some additional level of information to leverage to finish it, but, like, because the final product is typically really confusing to look at, you're really just forced to go with the numbers. And when you finish, like, a puzzle like that, I really like that. Okay. What were we doing? I'm gonna investigate. Use Scout scanning mode to locate objects of interest. It gave me the tutorial again because I'm in the room where I originally got the tutorial while doing the scan. That seems like that flag is broken. It says, I screenshot the puzzle at the beginning and was following along in Paint. Posted it in Discord. Cool, ditto. Did you get it significantly quicker than I did? Continue? Alright, what are we looking at? What are we... Beep, 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 coffee, beep, beep, beep. It's ugly. I look forward to looking at it. Aw, sweet, it's 10. And a double wide. Love to see it. What does that do for me? Hang on. 2 and 7, that's 9 total. If I could shortcut in my brain the way this works, it would be very helpful. So, like, I think the furthest this can reach is, like, space 2, space 7. So, like... Is that right? There has to be... Hypothetically, it can be... Space 2, space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... No, wait, that doesn't... Does that work? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it'd be space 2. Or space 2, space... 1, 2, 3, 6. No, it just, like, doesn't work. I think that just doesn't work. But... No, wait, hold on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Space, 1, 2, space... I think this is right. I think that's right. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a good thing the music slaps. You'll be listening to it a lot. Yeah. So if that logic does check out, which I think it does, even though my brain doesn't want to accept that, both of those work that way. At that, the 6 doesn't really do much. Let's start looking at these. Well, we got a group of 3 at the bottom. So anything below that has to be blank. A group of 5 at the bottom of this one. I could go all the way to the bottom, or it could go up to here. Which would then leave... Yeah, that works. I don't think that lets me narrow anything down. This could be the 1. It most likely is the 1? Actually, wait, yeah, we need a 2... There's definitely not enough space for 2, space, 1, space, 4. Okay, so that means that this bottom thing has to be 2, and that has to be the 1, and that... Yeah. Okay, that's something. How about 3, 3, 1? Well, there's that. There's definitely not... I mean, like, we can safely say that those 2 squares have to be filled in, and the last one could be either above or below it. But that should be filled in as the bottom one. This can only reach 6 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest of these should be empty. Looking at this, yeah, that tracks. There's a lot of 5s here. It'd be really nice to sort out this row. Well, these have to be together. That has to be together. Alright, so what does that do for me? These have to be a continuous 5, so filled... No, wait a minute, what? That... Something wrong. 1, 2, 3... 1, 2... That can't be right. What? Something is wrong. 2, 2, and 5. Grumpy face. All right, let's fill in overlap for this 8 row. Should be 6, and yeah, that's fine. Space. Okay, can't do anything there. In theory, that should be true. This could be the first one, or this could be the first one. So I can't do much more than that. Something's weird here, though. Something is weird here. Because, like... This row only has 2 1s in it. But, like, by the transitive property of, like, a whole bunch of 5s... Like, it seems like that should be filled in. If I do them on the bottom, then it's, like, 7 across. And that doesn't work, because it's, like, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, okay, I guess the thing is that one of one of them could be offset, and then all the rest could be filled in the bottom. Okay. But that being true... Okay, that being true, then in theory... It would have to be continuous starting from here. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... And then this would have to be here. I think that's technically true. I don't love that at all. I really hate that, actually. No, wait, that also isn't necessarily true, because this 5 also could work that. So... my response is, well, crap. Hey, Angel of Iron, welcome to the stream, and thank you for the 36-month resub. Wow, really, already? Dang, time flies. Thank you very much for your continued support. We're playing a game called Murder by Numbers, where I mutter numbers to myself for a while. The way it works is we're solving nonogram puzzles, which is where you'll see we have sort of a graph paper grid, and then numbers along either edge, and the numbers sort of indicate to us what groups of numbers of filled-in spaces we should be looking for to fill in a really dubiously engineered final puzzle box artwork situation. I find it really interesting. I'm not sure how compelling it is as stream viewing. You all will have to let me know. Last week people seem really excited about it. I think people are still into it, but it's like, it's not like a chat-heavy game, because like people are like playing along at home and whatnot. Did I reach this conclusion? This might be wrong. I think I put this in after going down that road a second ago. Because looking at this, I don't think there's any way to rule out this space theoretically from being filled in, as deeply unlikely as that is. This should be correct, though. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Let's try to think about this 6 and 1 situation. So it could reach like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would leave plenty of space for that. Or it could reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would also still leave space for that. So I don't think I can actually deduce anything there. The 3, the 5, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is something. It's not helpful, but it's something. It does mean that that's dead, and no, I think that's about as much as I could deduce at the moment. 5 down. Space. It could be something, but 4 to 5 down. Because, like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space, not enough. Okay, so that one has to touch the bottom. And then space. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Which... space. Well, I mean, at the very least, that much is true. This is almost narrowed down to something. This isn't. 2, 5... 5... Oh, man. Oh, here's something, though. That being true... 6... 5, 6, space 1... No, it doesn't. That's actually not enough to narrow it down, because it could go either way. It could be like 6 continuous space 1 double space, where like this is the 6 space 1. Let's plop these down. That does tell us that this should be filled, which I think in turn means that this has to be the continuous 6 here. Which means that it has to be space 1, space... God. Okay, I can't do anything with that yet. 4 space that. Okay, here's something. These are now groups of 2. They can't be any larger than that. It doesn't strictly narrow this down. I think we can safely say, however, that this has to be the group of 2, because otherwise it would be connected to the 5. Which... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8. So that's dead, which means that this is the 2. Which means that row's done, which means that's filled in, which means 2, 3, 4, 8. So that's done. Uh-oh. That can't be true, though. There is a mistaken 4-1 across. But I'm not sure how to deconstruct that. 10, 2, 7. Those are fine. Well, I guess... Huh. No, that's like a real problem. I think to deconstruct that, I might have to start over. Because that's like back so many steps, I'm not sure what all got filled in. Is there simply a restart button? There is. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try restarting. Clear the current puzzle grid. Yes. Oh god, that noise was much louder than it should have been. Alright, let's try and get through this as quick as we can, which is what we were doing before and failing to do. Alright. So there's that. I think this has to be this way, right? 2, space, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure. It's a group of 3, which means that's there. These have to be filled in. This is 8 and a 10 space, so it reaches 6 across. Nope. Nope. Alright, so this is 1 and 3, so that has to reach all the way to the bottom. The 1 can be up there. 5 could technically reach there. Technically reach there. Yeah, leave that. Sure. Yeah, 4 and 5 can be deduced right away, right? Has to be. Okay. So that... So hang on. If we look at it with this perspective, that's like... These columns are both linchpins that have to be in place from the beginning. Because they're just like directly logically true. Which means that all the spaces between them have to be filled in, right? Having that information is like extremely useful, which is not an approach that we took last time. Because then all of these have to be filled in, because that makes the continuous 5. And so this needs to be separate from the others, which means that we can fill in those 2 spaces and complete that row. Still don't know precisely where this 5 is. Just kidding. Because using this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that fills in. That fills in. So that's the group of 5 there. 2's a little flexible. Let's fill these empty spaces on either side of the filled-in lines for this row that's only groups of 1. This we're not there yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that could be that. Okay, no deduction there. This is a 3, 3, 1. Cool. This is 5. 2 has to connect to this row. So blank out this. Same thing here. It doesn't tell us where the last 1 goes yet. Here we have 5. We need a 1 somewhere up here. I don't think it can possibly be here, right? Because, like, this either has to be 4. has to be the one. I mean, I guess either way, this has to be the one here, right? Because the 4 can only reach to there or to there. But that's like, that's fine. I mean, I guess... No, that's right. This is correct. So that means... No... Not yet. Alright, what's... Okay, this is 2. And, okay, similar to before, at the bottom, this has to be continuous, right? There's no other way for there to be 6 if all those other things are true. Which means that the 1 has to be here, and that's empty. This is 2. Could technically reach all the way to the end. That could technically be correct. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay, that's done. That means that this can no longer be part of the 4. Which I guess was already deduced in theory. And so most of these vertical ones are done except for this. So, like, that has to be right. That 2 is done.
Giraffe.
This. And what am I missing? 1 here? Whoop, hang on, I did something weird here. No, I think that's right. That's empty. That's
Giraffe.
Okay, fixed. Fixed it! Giraffe! No, it was a coffee pot. It wasn't a giraffe. It's a good guess, though. I mean, I generally assume it's giraffe. Yeah, I must have done... Yeah, it's probably the 8 across. Alright.
What's this liquid, Honor?
Giraffe.
That's coffee.
Darn.
I don't know how I'd get through the day without it. My morning brown.
Gosh.
Victory giraffe. Yeah, I mean, like, you can use sound effects however you want. But now I want one of these puzzle solutions to be a giraffe. That's all. That's my takeaway from that.
I see, so coffee is kind of like fuel, like gasoline?
Kind of, but it tastes better. Or at least it's supposed to. The stuff from our coffee machine, on the other hand...
I'm having difficulty understanding. Is the coffee machine a fuel dispenser?
I apologize for asking so many questions.
Many of the intratextual connections in my ontological database were lost when I was discarded.
Like I said, she saw a plushie of a 3-headed giraffe earlier. A giraffe-burris? I'm proud of myself for that one. You lost me at ontological. Isn't that something to do with insects?
I know many things, but relationships between those things is unclear. I'm trying to rebuild them.
I don't know if it's fuel or not, Scout. It's complicated. Not everything can be broken so cleanly into simple facts like that. It's called the Giraffe Hydra. I mean, that's all well and good, but Giraffe-burris sounds a little like Cerberus. And that is a 3-headed mythological creature. Look, all I know is if Sarah was here, she would appreciate that.
I see.
You do?
No, but my programming tells me that is a good thing to say when faced with things I don't understand.
I see. Scanning. Scanning. So how do we not come across whatever we're missing when we scanned the room earlier? Floor puzzle. It's all white. I solved it. No. All right. We got a double wide, which, as we've established, means 2 and a 7 with a blank space. That'll fill in nicely. Looking at this, our first group of 4 has to terminate there. And we can do pretty much the same thing for all of the first groups. That doesn't count. Okay. This one has to be filled in. All right. Which then means that that one has to be a group of 3 there. Okay. 3. The first group to the left should be a 3. Is it possible that it could be 3 space 1 space? Yes, it is. Okay. Nothing there. That's going to be a late problem, probably. Kitty says, I saw a man with 3 heads. It was a Gydra. Was it the whole torso or just the heads? 2, 1, and 2. Nope, nothing there. 3 and 4. Oh god, that's a terrifying mythological beast, Mr. Generic name. A Gydra. A Fieri? A Gydra Fieri. So many frosted tips. So 90s. Such Flavor Town. Don't immediately have something to go on here. Which I'm sure is wrong. 4, 2, 1. Oh, no. Every time you cut a frosted tip, 2 more grow in its place. Oh god. It's a horror story in 1 sentence. I guess it's 2 if you just include the name Gydra Fieri. 2, 2, 1, 3, 3, 1. Yeah, the columns aren't extremely helpful here. 2, 1, yeah, I mean, wow, wow. I think there's enough leeway here I can't solve this. Or am I misattributing that? 2, 3, space, 1, space, 1, space. Yeah, there's 1 too many spaces at least. Although, does that give me something to work with? No, because I don't have enough... No, I don't think it does. 2, 3, and 3. 2, 3, space, 1... Ah, okay. 1, 2, 3, space, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that ought to give me something to work with. That means that this 3 has to be continuous. Can't solve that. That means this 2 is a thing. That means... Ooh. Empty row. That should also mean that that group of 4 is a thing. This can't fit a group of 3, so that space is off limits. Nothing there. Boop. Has to be 2. Boop. And 3. Boop. Okay, that means that this row, or this column is now done. As is this one. Don't think that's close. 2, 3. Huh. I mean, there's no way for the 1 to fit anywhere around here, which means that in terms of the 3, could go there or there, at least in theory. The 1 has to be like there or there. Does that do anything for me? Yes, because this should be 3, and then yeah, that row is done. Similarly, that should be there. This has to reach 2 across. Still can't narrow that 3 down just yet. And there should be 4 across. Okay. So this is... I mean, this then becomes the 3. I need a group of 2, and there's only 1 eligible thing here. Which then also makes this group of 3 that clears that row. This row is done. I don't know where that 1 goes. I need 2 more 1s here. That would, in theory, mean that... Nope, that's not right. That should be correct. Which then means This can't have another space next to it, which then means that this is the filled-in space there. Two. This can't have another space next to it. This one does. That row is done. That also means that this should be filled in, which fills out that row. This should be filled in. It's a knight's helmet. No, it's an ID card. Okay, I found it. I'm a D-grade detective. Honor, it's an ID card. Looks like it belongs to Tully. He seems to be quite forgetful with his belongings. Wait a second. This card says it's a Gridmore Studios ID, but I don't recognize the design at all. Do you think it's a fake? Sorry, Honor, I have no reference to compare against. Perhaps there's someone more familiar with these cards who can help. Alright, as figured, that's all that puzzle solving. Let's save again. Neat. Close. Let's question KC. Well, look who it is. Lady that's putting the heel into gumshoe. I mean, I see how that's wordplay, but it's not catchy. That one needs a bit of work, but you get the idea. I do. That's pretty much how I responded. I should introduce my floating fax machine friend. I should probably introduce you to Scout. New sidekick? You trying to make me jealous? I am Scout. He's some kind of investigation robot, we think. Sounds complicated. Yeah, it's probably easier if we don't try and explain it. Well, any friend of ours is a friend of mine. Nice to meet you, Scout. Hey, just not for nothing, but who do you think did the murder? Still not any closer to working out who killed Blake. Any ideas? Obviously, we could discount ourselves. That leaves only Becky, Tully, and John. Don't forget Bill. There's no way Bill is involved. He's probably doing sketchy things in his basement. You're right. I don't think he could plan a murder even if he wanted to. Last week I saw him getting startled by his own reflection. Don't be mean, he's got a good heart. Yeah, but like he probably legitimately got startled by his own reflection. I'm not even sure that was an insult. I think that literally happened. Did I say he didn't? You can have a good heart and no brain. He's living proof. And you're proof that someone can have neither. Wow. Okay, strong reaction. Ho 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 ho. Ho. Wow, also rude. Oh dang, a bunch of things appeared. My god, what about Becky? What do you think about Becky? Could she have killed Blake? That girl could hold a grudge better than Joan and Bet put together. She wasn't exactly on good terms with Blake. Alright, something about a contract disagreement? Don't suppose you heard any details through the gossip grapevine. As usual, she thinks she's not getting enough recognition. I heard she was demanding $100,000 for marketing. That's not so bad. The show could always use more marketing. Not for the show, for herself. You know, feature articles, billboards, the cover of Celeb Life magazine. Starshine Awards are coming up and she's determined to win Best Actress this year. Does she really think she could force herself onto the shortlist through advertising? Yeah, that's kind of how stuff works. Those of you who don't spend a lot of time in the Southern California area may not be aware of this, but when award season comes around, like, you'll just see ads all over the place that, like, remind people who can vote to, like, vote for whatever thing you worked on. For your consideration. That's Becky, but Blake was having none of it. She's been trying to win that award for years. She's desperate. Who knows what she might resort to. I've never in my life been good at an Australian accent. This is the best I've ever done, and I'm genuinely shocked it's coming out not completely and utterly recognizable, which is as much of a compliment as I'm willing to give myself on this one. What do you make of John? That weirdo with the bum bag? Hey! Because in the United States, we call them fanny packs, and that's a really rude word in British colloquial culture. And so in England, they call them bum bags. And despite the fact that I'm using an Australian accent, this character is supposed to be British. Is he Australian? No, he's definitely British. The game was very, very clear about that. But for some reason, the first several times I started trying to do a voice for him, it was Australian. And so I was like, you know what? Screw it. He's Australian now. That'll be fun. And also slightly less offensive to Neko in chat, who's actually British and could tell. That's not what I meant, for once. Fine. Well, there are fans and there are fans. Like that girl we met outside the studio last year. She was intense. Like, chain you to the radiator and get all misery on you intense. How could I forget? She tried to cut off some of my hair. Not sure if John is in the same league of crazy, but don't you think it's weird he showed up today of all days? How about that contractor? Tully? Such a dour name for such a gorgeous guy. If he wasn't such a creep, he'd be a solid 7. Oh sure, he tries it on with you and Becky, but what about me, huh? What am I, chopped liver? Now it's coming out more British? God, I'm just the worst. Honestly, I really am destined to be alone forever, aren't I? Might as well get a cat and start knitting my own jumpers. Oh, babe, don't take this the wrong way, but maybe if you weren't quite so picky, you might have more luck. That girl should know her worth, Honor. Wish I'd known that before I married Ryan. Oh, snap, more drama about our past marriage with a guy who's, like, Hollywood famous. Anyway, let's focus. Do you think Tully's a real suspect? Don't be ridiculous. A murderer with those eyes? This is coming from the man who said Jeffrey Dahmer had a certain mystique. Man, these references are, like, not recent. Most of them I've known and understood, but, like, just very, very of the... I mean, in a sense, it's good because it reflects the time period. It's more likely that they would have been referenced in the 90s, but at the same time, this game came out in 2020. I'm not sure if their target demographic knows a lot of these. Touché. Neko says, I just imagine he's a more Australian Chase from House. Oh, okay, a mix of British-Australian like Chase from House. Yeah. It's a little like that, yeah. Not intentionally, but we'll go with it. Case against me. Be honest, do you think there's a case against me? Please. How long have I known you? 4 years? About as capable of murder as I am of giving my parents a grandchild. Thanks. Never suspected you either, for the record. I should hope not. Besides, if I was going to kill someone, I'd do it with far more flair. Blunt force trauma to the head is just so straight, you know? Oh god. Hey, let's show him our tampon. Oh, is it that time already? Still don't get why they don't put pockets in women's clothes. Want me to hold on to it for you? You know what? That's a pretty good response, all things considered. I mean, the thing we probably should show him is the ID card. Hey, isn't that totally in the photo? Yeah, I think it's his ID card, but I don't recognize the design. Any ideas? Sorry, doesn't look like any studio ID I've seen. Maybe try asking Bill. He checks those things every day. Bill's not here, right? I can only interact with Casey, so I guess... show him the coffee pot? Or, like, the medical report? Hey, Sarah, welcome to the stream. I mean, you missed a lot of me solving puzzles. The pacing in this game's a little so-so. But the thing I was most excited about is that Neko said that she had seen a giraffe plushie with 3 heads that was called the Giraffe Hydra. And I speculated that it should be called the Giraffe-Burus, like Cerberus, and I thought you would appreciate that. And no one else did. So I'm reiterating this because I'm hoping that you enjoyed that one too. But like, honestly, we're still in the same room that we ended the last stream on. We were briefly not there. So I don't know. In the scheme of things, did you miss anything? Giraffe Hydra. Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna argue that point. Let's show him the coffee pot, because I don't know. It's a clue, maybe. Just didn't get the giraffe Bruce part with Cerberus when you first said it. I thought I, like, immediately reiterated, but that might have been, like, a minute later or something. I don't know. Really need to clear out that bag, babe. Wow. Wants nothing to do with that. How about the report? Ugh, paperwork. Boring. I mean, I'm assuming that the fact that this hasn't advanced at all means there's something I should show him, but none of these seem relevant. Just gonna go through all the ones where he just says I have to set a Becky action figure. I knew they made these, but I've never actually seen one. Not gonna lie, I'm actually kinda jealous. Don't be. You're always getting the faces wrong. You should have seen mine. Maybe it looked like Dumbo. Good point. They couldn't get my cheekbones right. What's even the point? Uh-huh. The tape? No. He doesn't like the paperwork. We did that. We did all of these. Okay, so I guess I can't get anything else out of him? But if that's the case, then I can't progress? Question mark? I'm gonna save over another one because there's some small part of my brain that assumes that we may have reached some like weird glitch fail state. Now I'm still able to question him. Didn't I show him literally everything? Do you have anything to say about the donut? The donut wasn't direct evidence. The donut was a memory puzzle. When you get good enough at puzzles, then you unlock scout memory puzzles, which are sort of independent of the current case. That's where the donut was. So unfortunately, we can't ask him about donut. Because the giraffe hydra was due to some guy glitching a game and forcing a poor giraffe with 40 heads into existence. But it's so tall. I mean, I guess it's the same amount of tall. But, like, it's kind of a lot of instances of that tall. Either way, it's like giraffe tall. Oh, no, wait, I can go places. That's what I'm missing. I can just, like, go to another place. So I can go talk to Bill.
Miss Mizrahi, you're still here.
I can't scan this room anymore, which is reassuring. Would you please... hi, Bill, how's it going? Still on guard duty?
Yeah, Detective Cross wasn't too happy about me going to get that tape. I had to talk him out of not cuffing me to the desk.
I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Oh, don't mention it. I'm just glad you're off the hook. I always knew you had nothing to do with what happened to Blake.
Thanks. It's good to have you on my side.
You and Scout make a great team. It's a shame you can't help Detective Cross with the rest of the investigation.
Yes, we can. That's exactly what we're doing, beep-boop.
You are, but he seemed really mad at you guys. Kept saying things like, that darn vigilante and her flying computer.
Well, he didn't exactly give us permission. But there's something bigger behind Blake's death, and we have to find out what.
Oh, geez, Detective Cross isn't gonna like that. No one's supposed to touch anything in here. Don't look at me like that. I just don't want to make Detective Cross angry again. I don't think my blood pressure could handle it. Or his.
What's your opinion of John? John Redfern. Did we know his name was Redfern? He's probably introduced and I don't remember that.
Oh, we get kids trying to sneak into the studio all the time. Sometimes under the guise of legitimate contractors. I think he just picked the wrong day to try and get an autograph.
I don't think he seems kind of intense.
Oh, they're all like that. You asked me, the kid got lost and now he's a murder suspect. Poor mother's probably worried sick.
You ever seen Tully before?
No, I don't think I have, and I never forget a face. Although I forget virtually everything else. That's why my favorite social media is Facebook, even though it won't be invented for several years. It's not too unusual for contractors. They come and go all the time.
It certainly looks big enough to kill someone, but why would Blake pick a fight with a contractor? I guess Becky is also a suspect? I hate to even consider it, but it's possible Becky killed Blake. Do you know... Oh, did you know they were fighting over their contract?
Becky kill someone? But she's so nice.
No, Becky. No, like Becky Call? Like Becky. You know, Becky? I don't know who you're thinking of, but I'm talking about Becky. Have you met Becky?
I know she seems rude sometimes, but I think there's a heart of gold in there somewhere. She probably just wants to be understood.
Did you say the same thing about the guy from accounting who set the offices on fire a couple years ago? Well, this place is not without its drama, huh?
Well, you can't expect me to be right all the time.
Take a look at badge. What do you make of this ID card, Bill?
It's a nice card. Feel the weight of that laminate? They don't make them like this anymore. I had an uncle who was a big shot in the lamination industry, you see, and he always said,
forget the lamination, Bill. It says Gridmore Studios ID, but it doesn't look right. Is it a fake?
No, it's just an old design. They went out right around the time I started working here.
But that was years ago. Do you really think Tully has had a studio ID for that long?
It's possible. Just wait here. I'll go check our files. Oh, I nearly forgot. I found something under Blake's desk. Something that I shouldn't touch, that I'll let you touch while I go and leave the place that I'm supposed to be guarding. Maybe Scout of yours could take a closer look.
That could be evidence. Shouldn't you give it to Detective Cross?
I tried, but he was too busy yelling at me for leaving the room earlier, so I'm gonna leave the room now.
Puzzle starto? 0. Alright, what do we got? These 5 ones. That works, right? Let me do one of these as a test. I think this is correct. Knowing that that one row is empty. Yeah, okay, so we can do the same thing here. Stop it. This is why I won't click and drag. Okay. So what does that do for me? Not like a whole lot yet. Oh, hold on. There's another one. Oh god. Oh jeez. Oh dear. Alright, so that's that. And likewise, this is that. And hold on. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah. Those spaces ruled out. This should be true, which means that's that group of 4, and that group of 4, and that group of 4. And all the rest are 1, so that all looks cool. Okay. Can't do this row yet, or that one probably. 1, 5, 1, no. Ooh. Ooh, tricky. 2, 1, nope, none of that'll work. That won't work. 1, 2, 2, no. Able to solve this bottom one? Probably, right? Yeah, I think that's the only iteration of that which works. Which means that this also is true. Because there's only 2 groups there, and that's how that's gotta go. Which then in turn means that this group of 2 needs to be filled in like that. This also has to be a group of 2, which then means this has to be a group of 2. Does it do anything here? Not exactly. Narrowing down this 5. This has to be a group of 1 by itself. Oh, this has to be a group of 2, and then nothing else in this row. Which then means that has to be 2, which means nothing else in this row. Nope. None of those quite just yet. We can... 2, 3, 4. So the 5 can either be here, or it can be here. But, like, these ones have to be filled in. Which I don't actually think lets us solve any of these other ones quite yet. It's filled in. This has to be filled in, so I guess this has to be blank, which then means that all that is filled in. That tracks. This row's done. This also appears to be done. So then it's 2, 2, 2, 2. Nope. There it is. That one isn't filled in. It is hair dye? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's hair dye. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like hair dye. Yeah, it looks like, honestly, my first impression is like maybe it's a doll or a puppet. It looks more like a person than it does hair dye. Maybe it's supposed to be the whole box and like a picture of a person? Yeah, with like a bowl cut? I don't know. We're a C-rank detective now.
It's a small bottle half full of dark liquid. Oh, is this more of the coffee you told me about earlier?
I don't think you want to drink that. It's hair dye. Also, you don't have a digestive system or really a mouth. But what's it doing in Blake's office?
Well, perhaps he dyed his hair. It does appear to be similar in tone to Blake's.
Strange, I didn't think Mr. Patterson used anything like that. Then again, we all thought that my Aunt Agnes regrew a full head of hair at 91. Turned out she'd gone senile and was wearing a carpet sample.
Blake didn't dye his hair, but maybe someone else does, and felt the need to do so immediately after committing a murder.
Your friend KC said he was an award-winning hair and makeup artiste. Maybe he could tell us more.
Good thinking. If anyone around here knows about hair dye, it's him. Oh. Now that Bill's gone, we finally got the crime scene to ourselves, and we should scan the room and...
Oh, hello.
Tully, what are you doing here?
Me? I was just, It's kind of embarrassing. Can we talk?
No. I will scan a bunch of things in your presence first. Puzzle starto! Okay. It's a double tall. So 10 is done. Okay. And now we can do this fun game where, like, the first one on each of these now has to be whatever the first thing listed across it is. Alright. So that filled that out nicely. And now we need 2 and 2 and 1, which means that has to be the other 2, because one of those is filled in, and then that's blank. I think there, not there. Don't think I could quite do that. 6. Should be able to do some overlap for 6. And 10, right? That should be correct, because it could be... No, wait. That's not right. 6, I can only do that? Yes, that's correct. This could either be like these 4 and these 2, and these 4 and those 2, or some other weird thing. Okay, so what does that do for me? Anything in particular? Not as much as I wanted. Nothing to confirm that just yet. That... 6. How are we doing on the 6? I think we could do overlap for this 6. Because now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, like, it literally has to be, like, all but one of those. Okay, that tracks. This has to be part of the group of 3 because it's not possible to have 3 and then a space for this, which means that, like, these both have to be dead. Which means this can't be a group of 2, which in turn means I think I can fill this out. because I know where one of the blanks is, and it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'd take 8, and there wouldn't. No, wait, hold on. Let me try something as a theory craft here. If I did that, would it still be possible? Oh yeah, no, I can't do that row at all. Okay. However, this can't be a group of 4. Because this is a group of 4. That, I think, is that enough? Not technically, because they could still alternate, right? Yeah, okay. Alright, there's no way for this to be 3 and then a space, so that means that this has to be our first group of 3. Which eliminates that, and then makes this our group of 2, which then makes this our 6 for this. Nope. Okay. 2 and 1. Nope, not messing with that yet, or that. That's a 2. That just incidentally is a 2, by the way. 2, 2. I mean, this essentially has to be filled in. Yeah, so this has to be filled in because there's only groups of 2 left, and it can't be directly adjacent to another group of 2. Can't fit a group of 2 there, which means that this has to be the other 2. So that row's done. That, I think, is finally enough information to alternate these. I think. That should be correct. This is this. This means that this can only be basically this, and then that space is dead, and then the final one of the 3 has to go to one of those 2 spaces. Nope, I've done something wrong. 2. Pretty sure this is right. So drawn a bad conclusion there. I think, does the 6 have to go here so that it makes a group of 2 and then a group of 2? Makes sense, but I don't know that I can deduce that. Here's this group of 4, which means that this has to be blank, and then this has to be filled in. Which then... Is it possible to fill this out? If I do an X here, I would do... Huh. 2, 3, 1. Hold on a second. So this has to be ruled out, right? 2 and 2. Which means that this would have to be the 3? Dude, something is wrong with this last row. I might have to start this one over. Like, this right column is just nonsense. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. No, that still could technically work. Oh, I hate that column so much. It's giving me such a headache. 2 and 4. 1, 2, and 2. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Oh, wait, this isn't right. This is not right. This is 5. That's not correct. 2. Huh. Yeah, I think I've done something wrong here. 3, 2, 2, 10. So this has to be right, so that can't be right. Right? Might be able to reverse engineer this, but I think I'd rather start this over. Reset. God, that noise is much too loud. It's simply too loud. Just, I hate click and drag. Alright. So that's accurate. We can do our starting point here. So I should remember that, like, whatever the furthest left thing is should, like, be correct. I shouldn't have to question that. Which might make some deductions easier later on if I start making an error again. So that filled in, and then this is 2. And then, like, this definitely has to be true. So they have to be continuous. It's the only other group. Nothing there. 6. That should be correct. Oh, I hate this column. Boo this column. 4. No, nothing there yet. Space 2. Nope, nothing there. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on the same path as before. I just hope I don't make the same whatever mistake I did. So, given that there are 7 spaces, fine. You can only fill one of those 2 and the other one's blank. If I could rule that out, that would also help with the row over there. Okay, and that means 2, no. Right, okay, so yeah, this has to be, since we have 2 columns where 3 is the top group and not enough space for there to be 3 and then a space, we can rule out the top space from both of those rows because the furthest the group of 3 can reach is second space from the top. Okay, that in turn does limit us to this space for the 2 square. All still tracks with what I came across before. Here's something interesting I don't think I did before. Since there has to be a group of 4 in the remainder of this row, it definitely has to cover those 2 spaces. Which in turn means that the group of 6 has to be here. That also means that has to be a group of 2, and then that has to be a group of 2. So do anything here? I mean, if this is correct, like the 1 has to be over here, and the 3 has to be in this group. So it has to be this. Cancel there. Not sure what's going on there. Nothing larger than a group of 2, so either side of that has to be a free space, and then this can't fit 2. So that limits us to 2. 2, 2. So if we do 2 here, because the bottom group has to be 2. This also has to be 2. It's that and that. Definitely looks different from before. 2 has to be isolated. This has to be a group of 2, and that has to be isolated. Seems extremely likely that this is a group of 2. Wait, can I actually deduce that? Because it'd be 1 space, no room for it. Alright. Okay. So 1 is the bottom group is fine. Looks like all the bottom groups are fine for the stuff I've done, so I fixed whatever the issue was around here. I think. That should be a group of 3, that should be a group of 2. Does that let me do no group larger than 1? So then fill in, space, fill in, space, fill in. Oh, I think we've finally done it. Nope. I think that should be the only way that works. Which then means that should be done. That's running 1, no. It's canceled. The other one could be one of those. Couple space for the one. This has to be filled in, which then means that the 4 has to be here. This has to be blank. That has to be blank. There's only 2 spaces for the ones. Because this row is finished. That has to be empty, because the remaining group larger than 1. I need a 2 here, so that has to be that. Which counts the rest of this row, and that's the last one? Okay. Whatever it was, I fixed it. It's a cassette tape? Kind of. It's kind of a cassette tape.
Magnetic storage. VHS? Betamax? No. Ah, this is an audio cassette recorder. Maybe Blake used it for dictating? Looks like there's a tape inside. It's got something written on the label. SM66 Tape 01. SM66 could be a code. Initiating brute force algorithm, spicy madras singing.
Stop, 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 stop. We're never gonna figure out anything like that. Just play the tape, and we'll go from there.
Okay, initiating playback.
Why are we seeing him on an audio tape? Who are you? What do you want? It's playtime with me. You know what... You really want me to R? Isn't there anything else I can do? Clock ticking, Blake. Alright, just don't... Finishing up on set right now. I'll go,
My apologies, Honor. The recording seems to be damaged. Some of the audio has been lost.
I heard enough. Blake was being threatened. I just wish I could tell who he was talking to.
There may be more information. I'll continue playback.
Okay, it's done. I told her she's off the show. How am I supposed to explain this to the network? It's not my problem. But we're done now, right? Just eat the rest of the photos and get down. Too fast. Or hold on to the nka. That was never part of the deal. This is... Calm down, Blake. Supposed to be over. I'm... what I should have done from the start. Away from that phone. To warn you again. Get your hands off of me. Og. The Castle Og? What does that have to do with our TV show Murder? He was killed because of me. That's a really weird takeaway from that. He was killed because of blackmail. Someone blackmailed him into getting you off the show, and then he was upset that they wouldn't give over the blackmail information because they were continuing to try and keep leverage over him. I would not say that he was killed because of you. It sounds like they were blackmailing him somehow. Someone wanted me off the show so badly, they...
I'm sorry, Honor. I wish I could do more to identify the killer's voice. However, it cannot be expressed in pixel form, and thus I cannot help.
It's not your fault, Scout. We'll figure this out somehow. And finding out who this tape recorder belongs to is our next step. Hang on a second. Did we get new memories? We did. Oh, we got one new memory. That's feisty. Let's do a save. Sebastian is once again staring at your face. Has he yawned lately, Neko? Here's what I think I will do. Let's try and do Scout's Memory Puzzle. If it's super duper hard, we'll probably finish after. If it's moderate difficulty, we might be able to, like, fit in one more scan puzzle in this room before saving. Oh dear. I have regrets. Let's think about stuff. Well, we got a double wide, so we can put that down for the 6. 3 and 6. 1 space, that makes 10. Okay, so I should be able to... 1, 2... Oh, no. No, hold on. This is a triple tall. It's a triple tall double wide. What about a 3, 2, 2, 1? It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What? No, you don't need spaces on all sides of each of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's right. That is 11, because it's triple tall. Right. Double wide, no. Now, what about the 2, 1, 4? 2, space, 3, 4, 5, 9. Oh, not quite, huh? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that sounds right. 6, 1, 3, 5, 1. No, because it's too tall. It's too tall! The puzzle's too tall! What about the 1, 1, 2, 2? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. Really? No? 6, 7. There's so many 9s here. Probably can't do much with that, huh? Because, like, yeah, they could literally be in, like, opposite grids. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I definitely need something else here, huh? It's just so tall. It's just so tall, you know? Like I said, Sebastian has yawned recently. Woke me up and had a big yawn while I was watching Arcadius' stream. Arcadius, what were you streaming before? Space. Yeah, just not quite. So many of these are close, but they're just not there. No. There's something I should be able to do at the very least. I should be able to do something. Here. Let me think for a second. Space, 2, space, 2. I think this space has to be filled, at the very least. Which is, like, not super helpful, but I really don't have that much to go on. Because, like, it can either be space, 1, 2, 3, 4, space, 1, 2, space, 1. Or, like, space, 1, space, 1, 2, space, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, I think I can deduce that this space needs to be filled. Does that do anything for me? I guess it means that the 6 has to overlap this. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like the highest that can go. We're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not a lot to go on. It doesn't really place the 3 or anything. It limits it somewhat, but not significantly. 3 space, 1 space. Yeah, way too much. 1. No, that's not enough. The 1. Oh well. Huh. This is. That's something, huh? But that has to be a 1. Yeah, this is probably gonna be the last of the stream, huh? This is gonna take me a really long time. 4, 1, 2. 2 and 4 is not enough to work with, right? 4 space 2, 1. Oh no, that's like what I did before, but like in reverse. So like here, because it can be space 1, 2, 3, 4 space 2 space 1 or vice versa. Yeah, that should be right. Is there enough space for 1, 4, 1? Yeah, it could be anywhere. That doesn't really narrow anything down. No. Yeah, these optional puzzles do escalate a lot more quickly than the main game ones, huh? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Space 1 space 2 space 2 space 1. I mean, the 3 has to be on this side of the X. That X should be correct. So that being true, these spaces should both be filled in. Means... It's not enough to do anything, really. 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. These 1, 1, 1 ones, these groups of 4 ones are like somewhat close to being something useful to me, but I need a little bit more information. This 1, 4, 1 group. 1 space 2, 3, space 1. This is like a flex of 2. Or like 1 space. I think these have to be filled in. It has to be a continuous group of 4. So either it's like filled in, blank, it's filled straight across, then like blank, whatever, blank. Like basically like it can either like start here and end here, or it could do the same thing from the other side. 1 blank, 1, 2, 3, 4. But either way, it has to overlap those 2 middle ones, which should do something. 1, 2, 3, 4. It really doesn't, does it? Oh. Yeah, this is like way harder than the previous ones. This has to be a group of 2 down here. There's just not enough space for it to work otherwise. Which means that this should be blank. Yeah, that should be blank. I think that's the only thing I can actually deduce there. 2, 2. So 2 space, 2 space, 1 space, 1. Yeah, it's still, that's, I mean, that's not. It says, well, Cadius keeps streaming without telling me, so I always have to rush to get there first. Not sure if he's around. I'm streaming Dragon Quest: The Journey of the Cursed King. Ah. I'm not familiar with that title. I'm just curious. I'm not looking for a hint here. Is there someone who's watching this in chat who has, like, figured out something obvious that I have not? Let's take a look at this. So this is 10 with some flex space. It's like 3 spaces 4, then an additional 5. So it's 9 space 11? Yeah, it's 11, right? It's 8, 9 with 2 spaces. So it's 11, which leaves like some definite overlap. So we can either, like, 1, 2, 3, space. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or we can 1, space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives us 1 overlap square. But that's not nothing. That's actually pretty helpful. So if I do that, it's not gonna fill the row across, but it's something. Take the 4, 4 column. Yeah, I guess true. I can remove. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. So like nothing can be filled in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. There would need to be a space here. That should be blankable. Because, like, that also can't reach that high up. I mean, it's not a lot. 6, 1, 1, 4, 2. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's some overlap I could apply here. No, probably not. You need at least, like, one large number for that to really work. Can I ascertain anything with this space blanked out now? Like, 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4... Nah, there's, like, way too much leeway there. This can't be filled in. 1, 2, 3, space 1. Yeah, that's not enough to really narrow that down yet. I mean, I guess I can, like, 1, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't really narrow that down yet. 2 and 2, 4 and 2 and 1, 3 and 1. 3, 2, 2, 2. 3, 3, 7. Gosh, I mean, this feels a lot closer to, like, what I would expect a maximum difficulty level puzzle would look like than its presence in the memory board suggests. Nico says, that game was one of my favorite games ever as a kid. Has really hammy British voices, loads of puns, adorable monsters drawn by a Dragon Ball artist. Ah, okay, one of those. One of those. You know, the 2 above the filled-in one has to be filled in 2 for the 4. That's true. If the rest of this is correct, then the overlap in its possible space limits it to, like, the last one being one of those 2 spaces. Which, that doesn't really help there. Could this be 1, 2, 3, 4, space, 1, 2... No. Okay. So if that doesn't work, then that means that this has to be part of the 2. Which means that, at minimum, this would have to be... Nope, that's not correct. That was the one I had filled in? Ugh. But it should tell me... Yeah, there's a ton of 1s and blanks. Like, if we had, like, a little bit more to work with, it would help a lot. Okay, so the 2 has to be one of these 2. Which means that... think that means I should be able to get something from this. Is it this? Because, like, you can't... Like, this space can't be filled and have this be part of the 2. It can't be part of the 4 because there's not enough space for a 2 and a 1. So that means... It does mean that, doesn't it? It just means that I can't fill in the 1. That's the thing. It means I can't fill in the whole row, but I believe that should be correct. Doesn't change anything there or there. Or there. I don't think I can do anything with this row yet. I mean, this has to be part of the 4, obviously. So that means that it can't reach any higher than, like, 2. Yeah, it's not really a lot to go on. 1, 6. Yeah, if it doesn't give you, like, either, like, one full row of some kind, or, like, a handful of numbers that are large enough relative to the, like, full possible span of what you're looking at, it gets really hard. Because when you're looking for, like, really tight overlaps and you're getting, like, one square at a time, like, you're really not able to, like, fill anything in. And until you start filling in a little bit, you can't make a ton of progress. You have to work really hard to, like, make small amounts of progress. One space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that doesn't do anything. 3, 5, no. Well, I think everything I got so far is correct. However... Oh, hang on. Here's a little something. This should be blank, right? Because this has to be 3. And if this is filled in by nature of the 4 deduction, that means it has to be the group of 1. Does that do anything for it? It means that the 1 probably has to be here? No, it's too tall for that to necessarily be true. 1, 2, 3, space 2, space 2. So yeah, like, this could very well be, like, the isolated 1. As dumb as that seems. Wait, is it possible to narrow down... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, there's, like, way too much space that the 3 could exist. I can't really narrow down overlap. I hope that when all is said and done here, that this is, like, a really satisfying concluded image. Otherwise, it will feel more frustrating how many, like, random spaces there are in it. I mean, okay, so this has to be, like, part of the 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Space. 1, space 2. Yeah. But I can't make any further deductions from that. I think that's how we got the square. This is so much harder. It's not just that it's hard, it's that it's, like, so much harder than the other things that we've encountered so far. That, like, I don't think I necessarily have enough skills to, like, complete this. I'm not saying that it's undoable. I just don't think I have figured out enough about the logic of this style of puzzle to make enough conclusions to actually finish this thing. It's just so tall, you know? Tall puzzle. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe just like one placed square in this row might be enough to solve this entire row. Reason that one of these like could or could not be blacked out to finish this row and have something to work with? Not really, right? So you could do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Pretty much either. I think you can figure out row 2, 1, 4. Really? I don't think that's true. Looked at it a few times. Because you could do like filled in, space, filled in, space, and then, yeah, like, you only have 9 for 10 across. You can't quite do that one. It's really close. We just need, like, 1 in that row, but, like, I don't know where to get the 1 from. There's a couple places like that, not a ton, but a few. And we just need, like, something that'll put us over the edge. I just don't see it. I really don't see it. You could make some educated guesses and start over, but I just really feel like you shouldn't have to do that. It's not to say that it's not the case, but I feel like you shouldn't have to. Because there's only one space of variance, does that allow us to make any further deduction? So it could be like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then space, and then 1, space, 1, 2, space. Or you could do 1, 2, space. Okay. You know what this game needs is like a third selection, like Minesweeper. I want to like flag stuff. I want to flag stuff. It's like, okay, it's I have the intersection of 141 and 214. So like we could either and then 2, 3. No, there's just nothing. It doesn't. Since there's a purple square. Wait. Huh. That's interesting. What's the other option? Oh, it's fill in. Okay. Why is that not marked as black? That feels weird. That's peculiar. It should be pretty helpful. I don't know if it actually does anything here. Three, 1, 2. Yeah, I guess that's true. The 2 has to, similarly to the way that the 3 has to occupy these 2. This 2 has to occupy one of these. Does that do anything though? Because you could do like easily fit 2. You could put like 4 and 1. It doesn't really narrow anything there. If it doesn't narrow anything on the, like, cross-section, it's just, like, not super helpful. 3. Can we do something with this 3? 1, 2, 3. I mean, like, I definitely can't fit the 3 over here, which means the 3 has to somehow occupy this space. Which is a little interesting. Because then that means... 2, 3, 4... No, this would be the 4. So anything that doesn't, like... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... I think that would mean that all of those spaces have to be blank. And then if that's the case... It limits where this 4 can go, but I don't think it determines anything further. It's like, if this is correct, and it should be, then, like, the 3 can only reach this far down, and if the 6 can only reach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah, that should be fine. There's not enough ones here for this to solve this. Does this do anything? Oh, wait, does that do something? 2, 1, space. I mean, it should mean that those are filled, right? I think there's enough ambiguity that the rest, but, like, you couldn't do, like, 2 and then 1 and then 4. Like, that's not possible. Does this do anything for me? This could be 2, this could be 3. Not really. 1, no, 3, 4. Really? 1, 4, 1, no, 1, 2, 2. 1, no. 3. Are we somewhere with this? 3, 2, 2, 2. 3, 2, 2, 1. I mean, like... I don't think so, because... Hold on. Space. 2, space. 1, 2, space. 1, 2, 3. No. We're 1 shy of that being true, but we might be able to deduce another, like, single spot from the 3. God, this is agony. This is real rough. It's a really tricky one. So hold on. No, it doesn't even work because that's assuming that, like, these are dead spaces. That's not helpful. Yeah, I guess 1, 3, 2. So there's no way that the 3 is here at the bottom. So that means this has to be a group of 2, which means it has to be isolated. Does that change any math anyway? Actually changes this math a little bit, because now the 6 can only spread like from here to here, or here to here. So that, I feel like that should do something. So this can't be part of the group of 4. So it has to be the bottom 1 by itself. 2, 3, 4. So, like, this has to be part of the group of 4, which means 2, 3. This should be blank. Because it can't possibly reach that far down now. 1, 2. Blank, 2. I think we can get most of this row. It's the only way to fit 2 2s in the middle. Just split that 5 up. And that would have to be there. technically I can't box that off. Because it could... No, wait. I should be able to do that, right? I should specifically be able to do that. That should be part of a group of 2. It might be the bottom 2, it might be the middle 2, but that should be correct. Don't know this yet, don't know this yet. That means that's the 3, and that's the 2. That could still be the 5 with a 1 at the bottom, so I don't think I could do anything else directly from this far right column. If I did filled in, blank, filled in... No, that's just like way too much non-information. Same here, although it's closer. Okay, so this... I mean, this has to be the group of 4. That means this space is empty. Can't do anything else there, I don't think. Can't be the bottom 2 because 6 across. Yes! Right, the 6 can't reach that far, which means that has to be blank 2. Yeah. That could be something... so if we put 1 here and then blank, that's still not enough to narrow that down. 1 could go in either of these. This has to be part of the 4. Although, hold on a second. Blank. 2, 3, 4. Or like, blank, 1, blank. I feel like I should be able to fill this in, but I can't quite think if that's true. I mean, essentially, on this side of the X, we need to be able to fit a 1 with a separator, and then 4 continuous. And so that can either look like this is filled in, and then a space, and then 4. Hold on. I'm gonna purple this. So it can either be like 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, or it could be like space 1, space 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think no matter what, this has to be filled in. I think that's accurate. So 1 space. I'm pretty sure that's correct. What do we have here? 1, 2. I mean, if that's true, you'd be able to blank out some space. No, not really. It's 3. You could do 2 space 3. Nah, it doesn't work. Column 3, 2, 2, 1 can be partially completed. In the sense that this has to be empty, and this has to be empty. But this could be 1, 2, and then space 3. Or like this could be part of the 2, and there's plenty of space for the 3 above there. I mean, that doesn't narrow that down, or that. This is still ambiguous. It's this. Or, I mean, this is empty now, right? We've somehow filled up 4 spaces there. That's something. So now we're limited to 4 has to fill a space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which means it can reach all the way up here. No, that's still about as much of that as I can fill out. As I've ever been able to do. I guess there's no way that this could be part of the 2? And there's no other thing that this filled-in space can attribute to? That could still be here or there? We should be able to fill this in. Because 3 has to stretch one way or the other. Is this some more limited space now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 2. I think this has to be part of this, yeah? 'Cause it can, yeah, it's 4 that reaches either of those ways. And there's no group larger than 1. So, in order to fit 3 more 1s, I have to do it in, like, one particular way. It has to be there, and there, but not there and there. That one feels like that might open something up. So the next one above this one here should be 3. It has to go there, which means the rest of this row's dead now. Okay. I guess could still... Hang on. Yeah, that could all still... whatever. Well, I mean, this group has to be 4 continuous, right? So, like, that has to work like that. Which in turn should mean that this is correct. Which then... this should be filled. This has to be 4 continuous. This 3, however, this can reach up to, like, here, and then nothing above that should be eligible, or that should be blank. Nothing in this column is more than a group of 1. So 1 belongs somewhere in here, but the rest of it's accounted for. I mean, this can't be a group of 2 anymore. So that means that that should be a dead space. So it could be that. Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that means that this has to be a continuous group of 5, because you wouldn't be able to make this into a group of 5 going taller than that. Which would in turn mean that to get the last 1 in there, that would have to be filled, and that would have to be dead. Okay. One here is 2. So it has to stretch off this in some way, but this can't be part of the group of 4. Nothing there, nothing there. So, like, this should be part of this group of 4. Could go either of those ways. This has to be 1. That's filled in. So if that's filled in, that also means that this is a dead space. 3. Hold on. This is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is dead. Yes, okay. That's still slightly uncertain. I mean, this has to be the group of 2, right? So, like, that's that, and that's dead, which means that's filled? Oh, wait. 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I mean, that has to be right, which then means, like, that has to be filled. I don't know. This is such an esoteric one that I don't know why I originally crossed that off. But I think that's probably correct, and I'm just gonna keep going with that. Because I'm definitely not starting over at this point. If we find an unsolvable issue, we will end the stream and hopefully revisit this at some other time. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Like, this could be a group of two, this could be a group of two. They haven't narrowed that down. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't narrow that down anymore just yet. So many stupid one blanks. So many stupid one blanks. This should now be accurate. Yeah, that should be accurate. Which means that's part of the group of 4. So it can either be 2. So I think basically... Hold on. It can either be like 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3. So I think these two should both be filled. I think that's correct. Which also means that that's a finished group of 1. This should be a finished group of 1. 3 can't fit here, so this has to be done, which makes that the group of 4. Let's take another look at this. So this 4 reach up to here, or can reach up to here, so that's a dead space. Can only feasibly fit 2 individual 1s in these 4 spaces, which means that I necessarily have to fill that in that fashion. Which would suggest that that's part of the group of 3, and this is part of the group of 2, but I don't think that's actually enough to do anything further there. 2 up there, no. 3 and 2. Wait, 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 2. So this is the group of 2, yeah? Because we can't, like, fit another... Which then leaves us with another this situation. Somehow not filled in yet. So what are we looking at here? This is a 2. This is... I mean... It can't be a 3 here, which I guess means that's 2. Which I guess means... blankety fill. Which then means that this has to be the group of 2, and that's as much as I can narrow, knowing that's a 3. But all of these things are correct, then this should be the group of 3. That should be nothing, which tracks. This has to be a group of 1. And I need 2 more groups of 1, so, like, that's finished. Can't do anything with that. This should be nothing. 1 is one of those. Wow, I really can't do anything with that, huh? Because, like, it could be... Yeah, wow. Shockingly, I can't feel anything there. So this is the group of 4. Congrats, you're done. There's this. Somehow a 3 has to fit here, so we got that going on again. Apparently that finishes this row. That also lets us finish this row. Okay, so that means this whole column is done, which I think lets us finish this row, because we need 4 filled-in spaces that we don't have, so that can only really exist in one configuration, which figures out where that group of 3 is and finishes there, makes that group of 3, which then should mean... No, something's wrong. This has to be there? Is that right? That's not quite right. I think that's correct. And I think that... No, that can't be right. That can't be right either. Because that has to be 3 and 1 and 1. I'm pretty sure that's still correct. There's also something wrong here. So we've got 5 grouped together. I'm trying to say it's something to do with this space. Three, 5, 1. 1. I mean, we're missing 1 in this row, right? So what if we instead... But that can't be right either. Because there needs to be... There need to be 2 filled-in spaces next to each other in this top row. And I somehow have the available spaces separated by 1. Lauren, thank you for your gift sub. Up to 18 gifted subs? Gosh, that's so many subs. Well, thank you, and congratulations to RJ Cool1776, who probably isn't here to see me be really bad at this. This also is incredibly hard. Also, like, I've literally been working on this for, like, almost an hour. Dear God. I don't know exactly where I went wrong. I feel like there's still a way to salvage this. It's not good, though. It's bad. Problem is, one of these finished rows is most likely wrong. I mean, this feels like that's probably correct. One, 2, 2. 1. No, it's even 20. Thank you, Angel. Jeez. More up to 20. Congratulations to Nate Destroyer with many 8s. And Castle R. Wait, how did that happen? That was similar to the earlier thing. It's confirming everything row 5 and down are correct. I want to believe that's true. You're saying that's actually true? I feel like 6 or 7 might technically be incorrect. I think everything lower than that's probably right. Something's off here. 4, 5, 1. I mean, that's probably correct. Doesn't leave a lot of leeway to change this 1. I think the 4 was correct. I mean, like... Is this possibly correct? Alright, I managed to work that out in, like, the least correct way possible. I mean, come on. That's nothing. This is not, look at this.
Oh my
like what am I even actually looking at? Like, I understand the concept of the pen pod is like a cup that you put on your desk and fill it with pens, but like, it looks like, I don't know, like a snail on a plate or something. Like, this is, yeah, it's like clearly a V. Is it supposed to be like 2 pens of different this is nothing. This is nothing. Your puzzle's bad and you should feel bad. Alright, let's... God, that took so long. It took so long. I wasn't expecting it to be that much harder than the previous one, which has already gotten me before, so like I should not have fallen for that, but I sure did anyway. Let's return to title, I guess. Oh boy. Oh dear. I don't know what to say after all that. So what do we... Here's a serious question. What do we think about continuing this game on stream? I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I will continue to enjoy it when all of the puzzles reach that difficulty, but my hope is that I will get better enough at solving puzzles of that difficulty that by the time that's like what the game expects you to do, that it won't be so hard. But like, I know it's not like the easiest thing to like interact with chat. I know that people like giving hints and nudges and things when it gets difficult. God, that was so difficult. I want to feel accomplished, but like definitely got some help from chat and also like definitely screwed something up near the end there. And I will never know what it was. There's no chance that I will go back and analyze that sufficiently to understand what I did wrong. Thanks to folks for watching and for the generosity. Also gifted subs and things, which you don't have to do, but I appreciate the support of the channel. I think we're playing Conspiracy Theory, even if you aren't doing what we type. No. Do I know Conspiracy Theory? I feel like I could take an educated guess at roughly what that is. Anyway, the stream is running much longer than I wanted it to. Joe says, I had to restart that one twice because I messed up the 6 at the bottom by 1 space twice. It's surprisingly easy to do that. And if you don't catch that you've done it relatively early, it's not good for you. At some point, I hope I develop enough of a mental shorthand that I'll know what the overlap is for certain large numbers. Alright, sounds like generally people are still into it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the books for another week. Oh my god, a multiplayer mode? Do you have any idea what nonsense that would be? Like, everyone would just, like, ruin each other. It would be like... It would be the embodiment of the crab bucket. Anyway, let's go ahead and seek out that secret Squirtle, huh? Because if you're new here, just in case you're new here, somewhere on the couch behind me I've hidden a secret Squirtle. If you can see a Squirtle, that Squirtle is not a secret. However, if you are able to locate the secret Squirtle, generally behind or under one of the various stuffed animals I've used to decorate the couch behind me, then it is an omen of good luck for you in the week to come. And so I encourage you to somewhat quickly consider where you think a Squirtle might be hiding, because I do desperately need to end the stream. This went far too long. Demolition, you know that I'm not going to credit you that. You know better than that. Yeah, I guess you could do a versus mode. I feel like that would feel super bad, though. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily need to see the other person's... Like, you could do... Like, you could do, like, a multiplayer competitive thing where, like, you don't see what the other players are doing, and then, like, either when the first person finishes or when, like, a number of ranked players finish, like, it reveals what the final thing was to everyone. That might actually be kind of fun. Alright, so let's see. Unconcerned Loaf behind Pusheen. You want to guess under Carlos. It's not unprecedented for me to hide it in the same place twice, although it's extremely uncommon. And Jolteon. And I mean, Large Loaf is essentially the same guess that you just made, so I'm still not going to credit you that. Would you like to take a guess that's actually a place that a Squirtle might be hiding and not essentially half the couch? Alright, you've changed it, you're gonna double down on Carlos? Okay, under Squirtle. Alright, let's go take a look. Now I'm gonna start with Nickel guess behind Concerned Loaf. I have yet to hide a Squirtle over on this side of the couch. I'm not actually sure whether I want to do that or not. Mostly I just have so many things to put on the couch that I've started putting something over my other shoulder. Also, this is a very big narwhal. Behind Pusheen, we have not a Squirtle, but a Ninja Turtle. Oop, and he fell. And he fell down. Okay. Yes. Behind Jolteon, our big sleepy boy. This time around, nothing back there. Just taking up all the available space. It's not to say it can't happen, but not this time. Let's see. The other guesses, we had Carlos. He's Clawsome. Down there, we had our good friend, I think his name is Largefoot Groot? No, Big Feet Baby Groot. The tag says Big Feet Baby Groot. Yeah, good sleepy Jolteon. Very sleepy. I guess that she wants to hug the Concerned Loaf. Don't we all? Only Squirtles. See, only Squirtles is like a disaster. Only Squirtles means no one will ever be able to figure out where the Squirtle is. It's like practically the hardest possible mode. And Neko gets under Baby Yoda. And there I have my new squishy, almost spherical Eeyore friend with accurate tail, but no Squirtle. But underneath this Squirtle, there's another Squirtle. It's Squirtles all the way down. Oh yes, that Eeyore is very squishy. It is indeed a Squishmallow, and Squishmallows are very squishy. So, there you go. Demolition did correctly locate the secret Squirtle, and don't you feel much more accomplished placing a guess that's actually a guess? Yeah, Squirtleception is quite the thing to behold. Don't think there's any reason anything would change with next week's stream schedule. I think we're on for just AI the Somnium Files next Friday. We started down a new path after hitting another dead end, so find out what happens with Nizet Laws. If you don't know what that is, it would take so long to explain it to you. The stream's already super long. And next week we'll try some more Murder by Numbers and hope that nothing breaks. Yeah, great hold music, right? Yeah, I mean, I deliberately went to the title screen instead of closing it, because, like, then you get the music. And the game has great music, among other things. God, that puzzle was so hard. I mean, we did it together, but, like, I'm just tired now. So that'll do it for the stream. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks for being you, and I hope to see you again soon. We'll be back with more streams, same stream times next week. And until then, take care, and everybody stay safe. Squirtle, Squirtle.